welcome to the road to the NHC. I'm Scotty McKeever. We are your weekly show that's your ticket to the 2025 National Horse Players Championship in Las Vegas, Nevada. Each week, we will dive into the world of online tournament play, showing you how to navigate through feeders and qualifiers. My partner to the road to the NHC, as always, is Wood Memorial winner and defending Silver Sunday champion, and most importantly, the 2022 NHC Horse Players Champion, David Harrison. What up, David?
What's up, Scotty?
What's going on? Everything good?
Good. Like I said before, you don't look so waterlogged from being in that South Florida climate. So just hang in there, stay safe. It's crazy down there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. The area that I live in is Las Olas, and it got really flooded, and they had so many areas blocked off surrounding our house, and so I had to navigate very carefully, like basically, going down wrong streets, things like that, the wrong way, and but you had to do what you had to do. But it was pretty bad. But now it all seems to have subsided.
That's good. That's good. So tread lightly when you go out there. Don't put your galoshes on, as they say. Keep your head above water, like we try to do in the game of horse playing, right?
That's right.
Keep your head above water.
By the way, so we've had about 3 or 4 people contact me telling me because of this show, they have qualified for the NHC 2025. So we're going to see a lot of people out there. I'm super excited about that. Also, I got contacted by the NTRA. They're really interested in what we're doing and possibly sponsoring our show. So big shout out to our EE community. And essentially what we're going to do first is we're going to go over the feeder that's coming up. It's $18 to join the feeder. And let me find it here on my screen so I can share it. These are the races we're going to be covering in the feeder. You have to have all of them in. This is a pick and pray before the first race starts, and that's Laurel race number 1. That's at 12:25. Essentially, I mean, this goes about an hour and a half, and you're done with the feeder. We're going to go over these feeder races. We'll even show live races from Laurel Park. Thank you to the Stronach Group for the ability to show that simulcast. We don't have that same ability with NYRA, unfortunately. But Belmont at the Big A is race number 1. We're covering that in race number 3. And then we're also going to go over the races for the qualifier, which is a $75 entry. So if you want to know how to do it, David, can you tell everybody how they sign up for an NTRA account?
Yeah. All you have to do is go on the NTRA.com website, and you'll see a spot to join. I guess there's 3 separate options you can do, right? There's the $50 option, I believe, the $75 option, and is it the $100? And I think with the second option, you get a credit towards horse players and horse tourneys. So it's NTRA.com. There you go. So you got the $50, $75, and $95 options. All you have to do is sign up now, and you'll be a member of the NHC Tour, and hopefully you can join us in Vegas. And I'll promise you one thing: even if you don't do well in the 3-day tournament down there, we're going to have a blast. And anybody who qualifies for our site, I'll be your personal tour director for the weekend, and I'll show you what to do when you're not in that tournament room, and we can have a little fun. So I don't pretend to be. Yeah, I go there to have fun, but I have to tell you, I think the first 2 or 3 years, I was lucky enough to get a seat. I think I approached it like, hey, this is going to be fun, So I approached it too, like, I didn't take it as seriously as I should have, and then I learned over the years, like, wow, these guys. This is, you have to have a plan, you have to be organized, but you can still have a little fun. It's more fun when you win and do well. I have to tell you, there's nothing like knowing the first time you make the cut line. I was that year of 2022 when I made that cut line. I was just exhilarated. I'm like, I beat 90% of the crowd here. And I'm going to be in. And then as you creep up the board, you're like, it's got a possibility of final table. My God. And then as you creep up and doing well, you start, hey, so join. Let's try to get in, and hopefully we'll have a big table over there. And at the least, I can promise you, we'll have some fun.
It is a big time party. Like there's so many different, you know how horse, you know, the different horse racing personalities. Wow. Like it is so much fun, exhilarating. And you've got people, there was a gentleman named Bobby who was right there. We're a sponsor. EquinEdge is a sponsor of the NHC of that event. And why? And you go on Twitter and you'll see he's screaming and screaming and screaming. And we're filming him and we caught that. And we that thing went viral. And then I go up to him and I ask him, I'm like, you had that horse in the tournament? He goes, no, I'm not even in the tournament. I had $5 to win on the horse. I'm like,
yeah. Well, right. and the one thing and the one thing that always got underneath my skin, and I'll just tell you this quick story, and then I got to get rolling. But thanks, Nathan. But I will tell you that it used to really irritate me when the guys at OTB would be yelling and screaming, the loudest guy. And he'd be yelling, and our horses, I remember 5-3 coming down the stretch. I have a huge, like $500 wager on the 5 horse. He's got something on a 3, and he's yelling and screaming. I'm not doing anything, and I'm like, yell louder to myself, because it's jinx. To me, it's jinx. The guy who yells the loudest he always jinxes his horse. So then I'm like, this guy was so loud, and he nosed me out. And it cost me probably $3,000 or $4,000.
oh,
so
man.
I went up to him and I said, "What did you have on that horse?" He says, $1 win place. And I won't say. I said, you know what? Next time you have $1 win place, I'll pay you off so you can quiet and root for my horse.
Okay. Listen, Oldie, that happened with Oldie. He came down. He was in South Florida. I took him. I brought him. My guest, come to the Express Bet Select Suites. Come down. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna have a good time. And he, of course, we never agree on a horse. So he's screaming. I'm screaming. I find out there's the 2 of our horses neck and neck. Of course, his horse wins. I'm like, how much you have on that horse? He goes, I had $5 to win in place, and I had a $2 exacta box. I'm like, I just lost $50,000.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah, oh yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. That $1 win place to that gentleman might have meant a lot.
Sure.
But I'm not that type. No names mentioned, but at the first race in NHC, when somebody's yelling and screaming like a maniac, like they just won the tournament because they had a 4-to-1 shot win, I'm like, then I usually switch tables, to be honest with you, because that's getting too overzealous, right?
No doubt about it. I had a gentleman, and God bless him. I mean, this is nothing against him, but he was sitting right next to me, and he just kept saying, "Hey, Scotty, I'm a big fan of EquinEdge and yours." And he goes, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Initially, it was like really cool, but then it was like, "Who do you like?" And it was like every 2 seconds. And they tell you too at the NHC, you should make sure you get the table that maybe is full with the people that you want to be around that are like-minded and things like that. And you just needs to fit your personality. I don't think there's a wrong or right, honestly, but it just needs to fit your personality.
Yeah, I'm thinking of writing a manual or a quick book about the NHC, and I think one chapter would be table dynamics. Right, it's really important, and I don't think anybody you're not offending anybody. There's a lot of money on the line, and if I'm not comfortable with the surroundings, and again, there's nothing wrong with wandering around the room. I mean, it is what it is. But I've met so many friends there that I keep in touch with. And I've probably a dozen to 2 dozen people that are horse player friends of mine, and it was great. It was great. The more years you qualify, the more friends you meet. It's fantastic.
It is so much fun. I can't stress you guys. Take one foot in front of the other. Sign up for an NTRA account. It's once a year, $50. If you sign up for the $75 account a year, you get $30 in credit toward with horseplayers.com or horsetourneys.com, which are connected. And you'll find the different tournaments. You can find one for you. There's actually some free ones as well. It's worth doing. It is an absolute blast in Vegas. I wish they did it 3 times a year, not once a year, because right when it's over, you already miss it and are ready. You can't wait for the next one, right, David?
Oh yeah. I wish they had one every month, actually, right? And led up to the big one, Yeah. So, but it is what it is. Yeah.
So all right. So we've got the what do we have here? Let me get this up for everybody to see. All right, so this is what I'm showing you now is the feeder. It's $18 to join to this event, and I say, what do you think? About 35 to 45 people will qualify for the qualifier for $75. So it saves them some money. It's not that hard to do, and the 6 races go by fast, and you'll know whether you got into the qualifier. So it's a lot of fun. Okay. So,
and I'll just, Scotty, I'm sorry. I'll just answer. Great director. Yep, my NHC total was 342. My average mutual, I think, was $14 or $15. However, to your question, I was just looking to pick one winner at a time and not looking at the total. I was trying to build it up to get to the point where we'd just make the final table, and then I took the lead. So, yeah, no, I wasn't. It was one step at a time, baby steps. You know, chip away, build up that bankroll. So I wasn't worried about what the final number was going to be.
Chris, can you do me a favor and put the link to your coaching class tonight? That's really a lot of fun, that Zoom call. There are a lot of cool people in that coaching class. Chris has done a nice job of getting that going. Also, I don't know if you got a chance to see that show last night, but if you guys didn't, we have a new show, the weekend preview show, and where we're giving our top 10 plays of the weekend. And it's a consensus, kind of like an all-star. We're calling it the free squares, but it's really, really, really neat. You want to go on YouTube. If you click on the bell on our EquinEdge page on YouTube, you'll get notifications on all the shows. And we've added 2 new shows just in the last month, and we're going to continue to add more and more shows. That's coming. So, and we've got the talent is growing. David, we got you, and we've got Derek and Brad coming on. And who else am I missing? We have some really, really top-notch handicappers.
Great, fantastic.
So, all right. Let's get going because we don't have a lot of time here. We've got to get to these this feeder. First race is coming up over at let me look here at Laurel Park. Is coming up in 38 minutes. So we're gonna have to buzz through this, okay, David?
Oh yeah. I that was the plan anyway. I don't have to spend a lot of time on the feeders, and my approach is using 2 tickets today. And I've already put my picks in, so we'll just go through them. I'm not going to be. I figured we wouldn't have enough time. So you want to run the simulator first, or you?
Yep. Why don't we do that? Let's.
Okay.
I like to eliminate some of the horses that aren't really part of the pass or the pace and have a chance. So we'll eliminate this just so everyone has a clear view. There's a lot of scratches in this race. It's still on the turf. Since it's a sprint race, I like to sort the outside horses. So there we go. We'll start and let's play this race and kind of see how this race is going to play out. Morning, oldie. All right, so the 13 has got some speed out there. It's a horse to watch, top win percentage, 3-1 EquinEdge morning line. So there's some tremendous value for that horse. But it starts slowing up here, and here comes just a wall of them. So, for me, oldie, you never take a favorite in a race like this, ever. Sorry, David. You never take a favorite like this in a race like this. That looks.
I know I'm old, but you didn't have to call me oldie. That's okay. We already have an oldie, but I think I'm older. I'm much older than him. With that being said, I like the favorite here. Right? To be honest with you. Well, here's the way I looked at it, and there was a key scratch. There are 2 horses I was interested in. They were both scratched. That would have been the 5 tall order and the 14 shape note. And then I went through my notes, and then I popped on EquinEdge, and I'm like, oh, they have my 2 horses on top. So I'll make it quick, short and sweet here. The horse I'm trying to get in as my top pick is the 1 Bossman JJ, who is not the favorite. However, with the late scratches, I'm getting a lot less than I thought I would. So what I like is 3rd race off the layoff. You can throw out that sloppy race. This horse probably can't handle the slop. This is more of a turf horse, even though this horse has had some modest success on the dirt, had a couple of 3rds and 5ths. But 3rd race, like I said, off the layoff, goes back to turf. I'm not worried about the last race because Bandcamp, if this race was on dirt and Bandcamp was in here, Bandcamp would be 3-5. So big drop in class. It'll be a better price than the 11, who is also, I believe, third race off a layoff, off that last race. Yeah, off that last race, a nice solid second, is a contender. The one thing I'm worried about with the 1 Scotty is lack of speed. So I'm just hoping that the speed goes out. We have an honest pace. I'm not going to use 13 Outkissed first time on turf. Outworks, I'm not a big fan of Outworks on turf. This horse is a 5-year-old, never tried turf before. There's probably a reason. So it's all 1-11 for me here, Scotty. Just like the 1-2 picks on EquinEdge.
And the thing is, I like the 11, but the problem I have with the 11 is that this horse just is not a good breaker. Now, it is getting an extra half of a furlong. The GSR goes from 64 to 70. The SOR is about the same. This is all that you're looking for in a horse to improve. Certainly, the 11 on paper, the 11 is the horse to beat, bar none. And then when you look at a horse like the 8, look at its dropping in GSR. It's not really done anything in 3 tries on the turf. I think we could try to beat a horse like that. The surge indicator shows this horse going the wrong direction on the GSRs, but you've got a lot of horses here that are finishing. Even the 13 horse. Tell me about this 13. It looks like a horse that can rate just a little bit. It's going to be on the outside. The GSR goes down, the win percentage goes up, and facing similar company off of a layoff. And Robert Bales is 11% off the layoff. What do you think of this 13 horse?
Well, I wasn't the only reason, Scotty, I wasn't going to use the 13 is because this horse has not tried the turf before. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of Outworks on turf. However, it is usually one of my angles in a mediocre field. Give me the horse who hasn't proven they're not a 5-time, 10-time loser on turf. So that does fit one of my parameters, but I just didn't feel comfortable using this horse. The horse I really wanted to use was the 14 Shape Note. It didn't draw in. And like I said, this horse has more positional speed, the 13, than my horse, the 1. And again, I'm going against a couple of my principles here using the 1. I don't usually love the rail at 5.5. And I like a horse with more speed at 5.5. But I think the class drop here is the key for the 1. Now, the 13 has been in a 20,000 claimer, so this is a slight class drop, but now we're on the turf, so that's a different ball game. I just think the 1 has faced such better horses that I want to give this horse a shot at this level, and I think you'll see a dramatic improvement.
So I think I'm going to third race off the layoff. I think I'm going to take a risk with the 11 horse. It's a favorite. When I look at these pick and praise like this, these are mandatory races. And so I'm just trying to find winners. It's a little bit different than at the NHC, David, right? I wouldn't even play this race whatsoever if it was the NHC. But the fact that it's mandatory and I just want a winner, I think there's a lot of horses in here are just going to start backing up. There seems to be a lot of speed between the 3, 4, and 13. I like your 1. I do. I think the 1 is a player as well. It does drop in GSR a little bit. But and it's run okay on the turf. It's just one of those horses that's just right there and never really finishes. I think the 11 showed that it was going to finish, and now it's getting an extra half furlong. I just hope that gets a decent break. I like the post position for this horse in this context, so I'll go with the 11. So David 1 and Scotty 11. I hate to go with a favorite in a situation like this, but I really do think the 11 looks much better than these horses. Okay, race number 2. We got to move quickly. Let's run this race. So 7 looks to get a good lead from the outside. 5-1 on the E-morning line, David. It is the EquinEdge long shot. Here comes the 4. 5's kind of in between horses. I don't know that the 5's going to get that great of a trip. 7's backing off, but 7's going to have a big lead. First thing I would want to look at here is the 1 a good breaker? Because if the 1 doesn't break good and go with the 7, then the 7 could be gone. And I mean, the horse is an okay breaker, but it draws the rail. It's certainly even a contender in its own right. What do you think of this race?
Yeah, with the scratch of the Rapoli horse, I'll take the blame, who I thought was going to be 1-5 and probably couldn't be beat. It makes it a little wide open. I want only 2 horses here. I narrowed this down to the 4 and the 5, and I'm all over the 5. I would use 2. I used 2 tickets here for the feeder, and I used the 5 on both. Coronation Time has gone down to this level. This is the maiden 10 level. This is the lowest they run there. And this horse has had okay form for this level. I mean, a nice third, half length behind, closed, hit the gate, stepped slow the race before, so there's been some trouble lines. I just think this horse is a logical contender. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. It's a mandatory, so I'm taking a 5 and moving on. The only other horse that I think has a chance here that I would use is the 4, and I don't want any part of the 4 because I'm not sure this is a dirt horse. This horse starts around the turf, on the synthetic at Turfway, at Pimlico, didn't lift a hoof in the comeback race, drops in class, so it could improve. But I'll go with the proven dirt horse. That's 4-5 Coronation Time.
You're clearly not looking at the GSRs because this horse is all dirt and finally getting dirt for the first time. Look at the tab on the dirt. It's not even close. It's 10 points higher than the next highest, which is synthetic. This is an absolute dirt horse. It's the reason why I think the 4 horse is probably the horse to beat. But it is such a poor breaker, David. Like, I mean, such a poor breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Like, I mean, you just leave yourself with too much to overcome unless you're that much the best horse. So in a tournament, to use a horse like this would be suicide because even if it wins, it's going to go off at even money. Let somebody else have this horse. No way I could use this horse. I think you're right to use the 5 horse. I think that I might use a horse like the 7 horse just because it could have the lead from the outside. It goes to a new trainer. So I want to look at the jockey trainer combination. 25%, they're 1 and 4. So okay, well you're going to take the 5 horse. I'll take the 7.
Yes, and just so just so you realize that I did look at the GSR on the 4 horse, but I still, even with the GSR, I want to see the horse prove it at least once that it has at least some semblance of form on the dirt. So I'm not from Missouri, but I'm a show me guy. So
no, but the thing is, that's the entire point of the GSRs, right? Is that you're able to see something before it happens, right? And as long as,
exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the thing about it is, like, I know it's my creation, but honestly, objectively, I've seen enough races now with the GSR over 5 years that I know how accurate they are. So I don't have to wonder. I'm buying horses based off this GSR. This is a dirt horse. So, just like the 7 horse is a dirt horse, but clearly on the GSRs, it's not even close. This horse has got a 68 on the dirt. But again, I can't get by how poor of a breaker this horse is. So it's going to go off at even money probably. So I have to play against no matter whether it wins by 5 or not. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And I think to reiterate, the key to the 4, that not using the 4 despite the GSR numbers, is because this horse is going to be a prohibitive favorite. I mean, if this horse is 5 or 6 to 1, I'm like, this horse is a dirt horse.
100%.
And I'd be looking right, exactly. But that's the price is the key. If I'm taking it like, oh, this horse never tried the dirt, but he's got the best GSR and he's 3 to 5, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try to beat him. So if it was 10 to 1, I'd be all over him. Right?
For sure. I will say this. This horse is 0 for 25, the 3 horse, 8 second place finishes. It did have a nice second place finish 2 back. It's getting back to dirt. It didn't like the turf experiment, but it didn't run terrible with a 43 GSR. I mean, the horse is 4 to 1 on the EE Morning line. I'm just wondering why the damn horse is 4 to 1. Like, you know what I mean? So I just, maybe the GSR is going up. The system doesn't have the horse losing by that much. If you're so inclined, maybe the 3 horse General JR would be a horse. But I'm going to take a risk with the speed on the outside and hope that the 1 breaks a little bit slow is what I'm going to do. As far as that, great director, as far as what kind of horse you look for in the NHC tourney, I'm looking for winners, but I don't think you can take a risk. If it's a mandatory race, I'm going to take, if I won't take a favorite unless I think if this is free money, and you can't be wrong about it. You just cannot be wrong.
Right.
Right, David, you can probably expand on that.
Oh yeah. In the mandatories, my mindset is I want to just pick a winner and move on. You could say, well, because if you miss one, you know how many people are having. You have 600 and some odd entries there,
exactly.
And if you have a 5 to 2 shot who was a lock, and you're like, I'm not going for that price, a 7-horse field, and you use a long shot and you miss it, there's $11 that you're down, and you're going to have probably 300 to 400 people having that horse.
Now, on the opposite of that too, sometimes you have to play defensively. So if you're in a mandatory race in the NHC, and you go over and you take and you go take a favorite, and you're wrong about that favorite, and then an 8-1 shot wins, and 200 people have that horse. I mean, you got really behind there. So the mandatory races are super strategic, aren't they, David?
Exactly, and that's why it's sometimes helpful to have the second ticket, right?
Yeah.
Then you can play defensively. So yeah, the strategy would be on one ticket, that's your main ticket. The other is your defensive ticket or your long shot ticket.
Right.
So then you can flip. I would flip. I don't want to get into that now, but I tend to flip flop them when I had two entries, and just then your long shot ticket becomes, or your defensive ticket becomes your prime ticket if that's got more bankroll or what have you. So
well, and when we're playing defensive here, in a sense, the 4 horse is the horse to beat. There's no doubt in my mind. But even if it does win, and first of all, there's not going to be a lot of people that use this 4 probably, and if they do use it, they probably got $6 or $7, 6 or so it's not really gonna. It's not gonna put you out that far. So you have way more upside, grabbing another horse. Really, the truth is David's pick is probably the best pick. It's the most likely winner if the 4 doesn't win, and the 4 is not a good breaker. So I think David's got a good pick there. I'm going to take the outside post. It's a 1-turn mile, and the horse has speed. And if the 1 breaks slow, then this 7 horse could have a pretty easy lead and be tough to catch. So that's the direction I will go with that. But if I had 2 entries here, if I had 2 entries in this feeder, I would use the 5 and the 7. All right, so let's go to race number 3. We have 23 minutes before you have to have your plays in, so you might want to start filling in your ticket like immediately. But let's run this race here, race number 3 at Laurel Park. It's races 1 through 4 at Laurel, and then it's races 1 and 3 over at the Big A. All right, let's run this race. Let me throw out this 8 horse. Well, no, the 8's part of the pace, unfortunately. Let's see here. We'll throw out. Who can we throw out? All right, well, let me try. I'm going to sort by the pace. Let's see what at the first call. If we sort by the pace, it looks like the 1 horse, the 8 horse is 1%, can show some speed. We'll run to the second call, and the 8's still there. And here comes the 7, and the 7's 3-2. So all those horses on the inside are going to get some pressure, because the style definitely of the 7 horses to be near the lead, and that's the EquinEdge long shot, and 3-2. And then and then all of a sudden, third call, here comes the 7. All right, so we know that the 8's got some speed. I'm going to get rid of this so we can see the entire screen, and then we'll start and run the race. Let's see what happens. So this 7 horse is super interesting, David, from the perspective that it's 6-1 on the odds makers morning line. Now, I think it'll get bet some, but it is 22%. It's really good. We have to look at this 1 horse who's the top EquinEdge pick. You might get some odds on a horse like this. So this might be a horse, that maybe goes gate to wire, especially if the 8 doesn't break good. And the 8, even if it does, is only 1%. But there seems to be a wall of them really at the end. What were your thoughts on this race?
Yeah, I basically narrowed this down to 4 horses, and because we don't have a lot of time, I'll make it simple. The 2 horses I really want here are number 1, British Sea, because of the speed. This horse in his last race dropped down to this level from a maiden special weight, and had previously ran at Ellis Park, Kentucky Downs, Churchill, and stronger races. So this was a legitimate spot coming back. This horse was right stalk in the lead. It's a good race at 1 1/8, and that's the one thing with 1 1/8 races on the turf here. The maiden 45. Some of these horses don't want to go this far. So this horse has taken a route around the track at 1 1/8. So that's a good tune-up race for this horse. So I'm using the 1 on one of my tickets, but he would be my secondary play. The horse I'm really keying on here is that I'm trying to get in is my angle here now, is the 10 Union Bulldog. This horse is dropping down from maiden special weights down to 45,000. First time gelding, first time turf. So there's your angle. I'm always looking for an angle. Gelding's 1, turf is 2. These are mediocre turf races that right now you can look these horses haven't broken their maiden. They've each had like 5 or 6 starts, the majority of the field, and there's no proven really, gangbusters here. So this is what I look for. There's my angle. I want a horse who hasn't proven they can't win first or second time out in the turf. You got it in Union Bulldog. You got first time gelding, and you got the drop down from maiden special weight. So it's 10-1 here, 10 for my prime play and 1 for my secondary.
Okay, 10-1. Let's take a look at the 5 horse and the 7 horse. 5 horse, went to a new trainer last time out, didn't run bad at a similar level, does drop from 19% to 9%. The GSR drops, is not the best breaker in the world. So I think that's the type of horse that we could try to beat. Although at 6-1 EE morning line and the EquinEdge second pick, that certainly is a horse you should consider. The 7 horse here broke inside last time out, which is not a big deal. But the reason it sometimes can be, even though you want to save ground from there, is that when you have tactical speed like this horse and there's 11 other horses in there, you might not get the best trip. So I'm going to guess that this horse probably didn't get the best trip. It looks like this horse can rate a little bit. It's tactical. Yeah, I don't want 3-2 odds on this horse, but it does look like it's going to get first run. We look at the 9 horse. It's dropping in class, and the last couple of races steadied between early, had trouble here, 6 path here, didn't break good against 12 horses. This is a major player here. I know the EE morning line is 9-2, but this horse certainly deserves a big look. I'm going to say, for me, I'm going to go 7-9. Okay.
Did you say 7-9, Scotty?
7-9. Yep, 7-9.
Scotty, 7-9. Right. Yeah, those are the other 2 contenders. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
7-9. So the 1 horse here, let's look at this horse. 5-2 on the EE morning line on this Armed and Ready. The 1 takes off early, but and we'll have to look at this horse a little bit closer. It's going to get bet because of its speed, but I think it's going to start really slowing down. When a horse starts slowing down at the 3rd call, usually that's a problem, but it's not stopping at the 3rd call. And look, it's almost a vertical line. I like to say that sometimes when you see that, it's just an absolute wide open race. And David, there's a couple of things I like to do in situations like this. I like to trip handicap. What kind of trip is a horse going to get based on the simulated race and the pace number? And then you can see the win percentages. I don't think there's any advantage here. So now I'm looking on to other things. Well, it shows the 6 horse GSR jumping. Why don't we take a look at that? So last time they tried to turf, that was a failed experiment, and the horse was only 1%. Now, this is a very interesting horse because against a 48 group, when it broke its maiden at 11%, 66 GSR, it won the race. GSR is 61. I'm not sure 9 furlongs is the distance, so I don't know that I would love this horse, but Kieran McGee is just an incredible trainer.
Right. The key here that I looked at, Scotty, in my opinion, is the 1.125 distance. And I don't want horses who just broke their maidens, especially the 1 broke his maiden for 25, or romped on the front end by 12. I don't want that horse at all. Also, I don't think Finger Roll is probably not going to want a 1.125. This is a Gervin. To me, Gervins are more sprinters, mile or less. So the 2 horses that, to me, that probably can handle a distance the best are the 5, Margie's Fun Son, who's 1 for 15, and the 3, Money Room, who's another Keen Ice. They're both Keen Ices out of Curlin who can handle distance. That horse is 1 for 24 lifetime. So, you want to be hitching your wagon, to horses who are 1 for 40, 2 for 40. But I'm going to key on both of my tickets on the 5, Margie's Fun Son. I'm sorry. I like the claim and moving back up to a distance. This horse had a race at a 1.125 at Laurel, and this was back on December 10th of 2023. I'm sorry, and had a solid second. So to me, this horse is fine with the distance. Ran second. And I like the claim, even though Lacey Gaudet's only about 10% off first time off claim, I believe. Yes. But this is a pattern. This angle had worked for me at the NHC this past year, Silver Sunday Day. I bet a horse on that day, Lacey Gaudet claiming and moved it up to 1.125 miles, stretching out about the same level. I was looking for the name of the horse. I couldn't find it. But so it worked for me one time, and I'm going to hope it works for me a second time. So it's all 5. Margie's Fun Sun, first time off the claim, stretching back out to 1.125 miles, because most of the horses, I think the tongues are going to be hanging out coming down the stretch. So it's all 5 on both tickets for me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is just a wide open race. You know, when I looked at Armed and Ready, I didn't like this horse won by 12.5 lengths. And then the horse is, you know, in for 20. Like, I would have thought they maybe would have put this horse up for a little bit higher. But I will say this. This horse was running for higher levels, didn't break good in this race. So there's an excuse here somewhere. Here is a little bit sneaky. The horse's first race against a much better group was 48% to win. And it was only 6 lengths back here at the half, you know, and then before slowing down a little bit. But then drops here against 9 other horses. And jostled at the start. I mean, so you have to have some talent, and they clearly thought this horse had talent, but also the horse clearly has its issues. And then it comes over here against a 40 group and wins for fun. Something tells me that this horse actually is okay. And yeah, it's got its issues, and so just win races. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of races left. So I think in a race like this, where none of these horses really look all that great, and nobody really seems to want to win, I think a horse like this makes a lot of sense to maybe go gate to wire. And the other one I'm really liking, to be honest with you, the more I'm looking at this, is this horse. Anthony Ferrier is a really good trainer. 24% first off the claim. Claims the horse for 10,000, in for 16. So double jumps this horse, and the horse certainly, and you can look, I mean, barely lost last time out at a similar level over at Pimlico. And the horse has some nice form too. And, you know, 1 win, it has 8 second place finishes, but I think the new connections could move this horse up. And I think in a race that nobody seems to want to win, that maybe this, the 3 horse could be the horse. So I've got mixed feelings between these. So, but I'm going to make a decision that's going to be 3-1.
Okay, and I just want to point out, Scotty, before we move on, both the 3 and the 5 are keen ices, and they're the only older horses in the race. So
yeah, good point.
They're all the other horses are 3-year-olds. So we're getting a 4 and a 5-year-old against younger horses.
Yeah.
This time of year, you're getting to that point, second half of the season, it doesn't mean as much because the 3-year-old is starting to, you know, get a little more seasoned. But I still, in a race like this, give me the older horse.
Yep, for sure.
Give me the older horses, the 2 older horses who are 2 for 42 combined lifetime.
Incredible.
That's exactly what I want.
I know.
But I'm there.
This is a super tough race. Strategy wise, David, I mean, I think you just have to try to figure out the winner in the race. And this is even though it's only a 5-horse field, this is not an easy race to handicap. You could go any which way, and you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. You could play defensively in a race like this. Just make sure that, you could have the longest shot in the board win the race, but who's going to be the longest shot? I don't know. It could be your 5. So it's a really tough call. It's not an easy decision. I think the 1 horse always, I mean, look at the breeding on this horse is tremendous. Just this horse has its issues, obviously, right? So second off the layoff, maybe they figured out this horse. I don't know. Maybe the 1 horse goes gate to wire and wins for fun. I don't think either one of us would be surprised if that happens.
Right. And the one thing too, I wanted to point out, it's easier at the NHC than playing this pick and pray, because at the NHC for this race, if this was a mandatory, you'd get a look at the odds. So that would make my final decision based on the odds. So
yeah,
if the 5 was favored, I'd probably go to the 3. If the 3 was favored, I would be looking for a price of at least 3-1, 5-2, 3-1 on Margie's Fun Sun. But if Margie's first Fun Sun is 2-1, I probably wouldn't want to part at the NHC.
All right, you got 10 minutes to get your feeder in, and we've got 2 more races to cover. We got Belmont at the Big A, race number 1, and race number 3 to cover. So let's get to it. Again, by the way, the race simulator, which you're looking at now, if you're new to our channel, this race simulator is going to be available to all packages, day passes, and subscriptions in about 2 weeks from now. Let's see what happens here. So looks like the 1's the fastest horse in the race, not by a lot, but it's going to most likely be, especially from that rail position, A lot of times when you see something like this too, you do have to look to see how the horse breaks, because a lot of horses that seem to need the lead or need the lead types or need to be really close to the lead, if they break bad, then the chances of them winning are almost nil. So that's an angle that you can use as well to your advantage just by looking at that. So it does show the one going gate to wire. If we look at this horse, in the last 3 races broke pretty good. The last race was just too tough. I mean, that was a 62 SOR group, David.
Yeah, yeah. This race, I'm trying to get on the one because there doesn't look to be a lot of speed here, and I'm looking at the one now. When I look at the advantage, the pace advantage the one has in 81, I'm thinking, especially since this track hasn't been used in a week, it's going to be speed favoring.
Yeah.
But I just can't get this horse to be my number one pick. This horse is 2 for 3 over the track. Was claimed, moved up to 25, kind of over its head, back down to 10. But the real reason I can't make this horse my number one pick, even though I'd like to, I'm trying to say this horse is going to go wire to wire, is the connections, the trainer. I don't want to seem like I'm biased, but I never had success with this trainer. This trainer is not, one of the main circuits. Their winning percentage is not that high. I just can't get past this, the connections here. They've got to show me that they can claim a horse and win. This horse didn't really lift a hoof in its last race. So I'm going to use this as my second pick. I think this horse is going to be right on the engine and it's going to be there for a while. But the horse that I'm really trying to get home here, Scotty, is the 4 Ribbons and Medals. This is a horse that should be stalking. This horse is raced at Gulfstream Park on the synthetic, then went to 7 furlongs. Had the lead there, drops back to 6.5 up that 7. And you've got works. The last couple of works have been ideal. Working at Saratoga training track. So I think based on the works and the slight layoff, Melanie Glidding's, this horse may be in the right spot. So I'm looking to put the 4 on top of the 1 here. So it's 4 on my main ticket and 1 as my backup in this race, Scotty.
All right. So I'm just going to look at these real quickly. We'll look at the race here. The 1 and the 5 and the 3 are coming on pretty good. The 5 First Deputy, I think we would be remiss if we didn't at least look at that. Second race for Wayne Potts, in for 10,000, which was the claim price. And the horse just not really a good breaker at all, no matter what, and then just kind of prods along. It will be finishing, but it is 7 years old, 53 races. I mean, it's not like this horse can't win. I think the 6.5 furlongs helps this horse a little bit, but it just doesn't seem to really do anything. The win percentage goes up a little bit. GSR is about the same. The competition is a little bit easier. I think this horse is an in the money horse if you're playing exotics, but I think I have to probably look for a different horse. Here's a horse that has been facing tougher, but the win percentage goes down. The system doesn't seem to love that horse. It has 4 wins in 54 races. For that reason, I have to take the 1 horse. All right, so you're going to take the 4 horse, and I'm going to take the 1.
Yep, 4-1 for me. And just want to also point out about, First Deputy. The problem with First Deputy is just horse doesn't break. But again, it'd be interesting watching the first race back at Aqueduct because of they haven't raced in a while. I'm not sure how the track's going to be today.
Right. So. Okay. Let me see if I can eliminate anybody. Okay. It looks like we've got a really tough race. You've got 6 minutes to get your plays in at Laurel. We're going to show the race live. Okay, let's see. Start. Okay. Sort. And play. There we go. So there's some speed on the outside, it looks like, with the 11 and the 13. But, a lot of times when that happens, you're going to get, in this 2-turn race, you're going to get used up. And these horses don't have high win percentages, but it could set the tone for somebody to come from behind because of that early speed.
Yeah. Well, I'm just watching the simulation here. I have to tell you, this maiden specials, mile and a 16th, New York State Breds is what I always joke around. It's like, I don't want my live money tournament coming down to this ninth race, if this was the last race in the tournament, because I have no confidence in anybody. But yeah, I narrowed this race down to 1, 3, 4, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13. So there you go. But
Yeah.
let's talk turkey. We don't have a lot of time.
Okay, I'm going to
The
eliminate
horse.
the 11 and 13 first of all because they don't look really that great. We need to talk about the 10 real quickly because the simulation has the 10 winning for fun, and the horse ran a good race last time out. Gets Irad Ortiz aboard. Was 32% to win last time out. Off slow, so it was off slow. Had some issues. And then when you've got nine other horses, 10 horses on that turf course, depending on where the rail was, I mean, holy hell! I mean, you might not get the trip. I think what I like about this horse is the horse is tactical in this race. There doesn't seem to be a ton of speed, and nobody's going to get the horse in a better position than Irad. I think this horse is a major player, and the simulator sure likes the horse.
Yeah, Scotty, this was my key horse. This was going to be my key horse. I really like the 10. I think the 10 is the most probable winner. And the reason for me is back on Pegasus Day, this horse ran this was Pegasus Day, lost to Crystal Quest, right? Yeah, that was Pegasus Day, or it may have been the day after. I was there during the weekend, and so it's been racing at Gulfstream in open company, right? And the one race I was really keying on is the 7.5 furlong race. That was Florida Derby Day. So I had things a little confused. This was Florida Derby Day, where I loved Princetown in that race. First time turf. That was a big score for me. And I needed this horse to get up for second. So I watched the replay a couple times and figuring what happened here. This horse got off slow. This horse got compromised totally at the end. The beginning of the race, I mean. And Princetown was basically wire to wire. So you needed to be closer to the pace. This horse made up a lot of ground. The one thing I'm really concerned about with this horse, though, to be honest with you, Scotty, is the last race. This horse was bet off as the favorite, off slow. So that's twice in a row this horse got off slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make this horse my best bet of the day because I think this horse has a big class edge. But based on those slow starts, I got to use a backup. So on one ticket, I'm using the 10. And I'm also using the 13 Master Fraud on my backup ticket. This horse at 42 to 1 in the last race had positional speed and actually nosed out my life story. So it is a Freud. This horse can be on right close to the lead, stalking from an outside post. So for me, on one ticket it's the 10, and the other would be the 13. However, I could easily make a case for the 9 or the 7, or the 3. So this is such a wide open race, but I'm just going to stick to 10, 13 here.
Well, Chad Brown's got a layoff horse here where Pratt's aboard, crowded at the start, broke 10th of 11 horses, and really made a nice move. Comes back here, the breeding on this horse, it's nice, but both turf and dirt. So this horse certainly looks good as well. And I think this horse is picking up blinkers. Let me recheck that. Yeah, blinkers are added.
Blinkers on. Yeah, correct. And then Chad's also got the one horse.
Chad's got the this is a decent horse actually.
Oh yeah.
I remember this horse. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, you got the 3 horse, Danny Gargan's barn, who's on fire. 2 stakes winners, the Matt Wynn and the Belmont. So the barn's hot. This horse ran a pretty decent race last time out, first time turf. So yeah, this race is so wide open. Just hopefully that you get a winner and move on. I could see 5 or 6 horses winning this race, but to me, the horse that should win is the 10. But the horse could get off slow again, right?
I'm going to take the 1. I know this horse is actually a really nice horse. So I like the 10. I can see where people are making a case for the 9. But I know the horse had a bunch of issues. They're adding blinkers, all that kind of stuff. To be honest with you, when I see an equipment change, to be honest with you, for me, it's a negative. So the horse isn't moving up enough in win percentage, which tells me the race is wide open. The horse is going to improve from that effort. And I can see where people can make a case for that horse, but I think you can make a case for a lot of them. So I'm going to play against the 9. I think the race is between the 1 and the 10. That's what it looks like to me. So I'm going to say 110. Who are you going to go with? 10?
I'm going with 10-13. And if I can give an honorable mention to 7 Burning Beauty.
Okay.
Bernardini, first time turf. Doesn't seem like a turf sire, right? But that angle worked for me at the NHC. And I'm going to break the Clement jinx at some point. Clement, I just can't win with him. I'm going to be betting to the 4 and 7 straight in that race. I got to get up to Schneid with him. It's just unbelievable.
Okay, remind me who we have in here in this first race at Laurel Park. This is the first race in the feeder.
Yes, I have 1
and approaching the
on my
gate.
1 ticket. And the 11, 111 for me. So
who did I have?
Prefer the 1.
Let's see here. Let me look. Okay, Laurel race number 1. I had the 11 horse.
Good luck,
Switzer.
everybody.
Even money, like that's a tough one, man. You have to really love a horse to use an even money. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm almost. I probably will change it now in my second ticket, but I'm going to let it fly. It's only $18. But see, this is an example. If this is an NHC race and I had a 111 and I had 2 tickets, I would 100% change my 11 to some other horse on my second ticket. I don't want even money. The first race at the NHC, never happening.
No.
Especially if I was going to wager and this was an optional, right? You can't make that play. So then I think I'm
going to change my
had 2 tickets, but sometimes I very rarely use the same horse.
I'm going to change my play to the 13. I recognize. I do think the 11's the best.
Probably. Okay. Yeah, exactly. But it's the price. This is killer.
Yeah.
If this was optional at the NHC, I would probably use the 1 on both tickets. And when I originally used the 11 on my second ticket.
Well, in the first leg of this, you have the option of being able to change and see what's going on before it starts. Afterwards, in these pick and praise, you can't change anything.
Exactly.
JJ,
4 to 5.
Steve.
And there's only 5 more races. Not like the NHC, you've got 36 races to go. It's like, all right, well, you can with that many races, you can afford to get a loser here or there.
Sustenance with JJ Torrealba aboard.
13 has a realistic chance in here. It's a horse to watch, 26%, 3-1 EquinEdge morning line.
Going in 6
There's nothing wrong with the 13. The 11 is 4 to 5 now. Yeah, I'm happy to make my change in picks here at 4 to 5.
5.5 second finish
11
line.
wins, it wins.
Yeah.
And they're off. Burning up the dough in Sustenance are very fast away from the gate. Outkissed on the outside also with early speed. Cloudy Boys on the chase there from 4th. And Switzer only 5 lengths off the pace of the 2-path now. Flash is back. Boss Man JJ. Sugar Steve is outkicked by the early lick up front. And Speaker It trailing the field. 17 lengths from front to back into the far turn. Burning up the dough. Outkissed on the outside. Putting on the pace together from Sustenance. Switzer in a great spot to pounce on them from 4th. Cloudy Boy on the inside from 5th, and Flash is back in 6th to try to rev up. Boss Man JJ saving ground. Quarter mile to go, second wire finish. Burning up the dough is leader from Outkiss. Out center of the track is Switzer, who's now leveling off. Here comes Switzer, charging from second and charging and burning up the dough. Also Boss Man JJ. Boss Man JJ's coming alive too. Switzer, Boss Man JJ. Cloudy Boy on the far outside. Switzer, Boss Man JJ. Cloudy Boy on the outside. 3-way scramble, second wire, wherever it is, fellow. Maybe Switzer.
What a race. Talk about an entertaining cheap claimer.
I don't know why we go over all these horses. We just could have used the EquinEdge picks. 11-1 is what it came in.
You sure the outside horse didn't
look
at and split them?
Amazing. Like, really amazing. Like, if
minute 1.83.
Look at the simulator.
Is supposed to
here, let me show you the simulator right now, what this reads. Look at that.
The 7 didn't split him?
11-1-7 on the simulator.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, no, that was clearly the 11-1. Yeah, 11-1-7. Wow, what a race that was.
11-1-7. Okay. Hey, well, we had it right there.
Yeah, we had it right there. All right, so we got to wait for
So
race
I didn't
number
change
2.
my 11. I didn't change my 11 on my other ticket. So
Oh, you didn't change
I
it?
probably
Okay,
should
well, there
have,
you
but
go.
because that always burns me.
Yeah.
And especially, it's only $18
Well, the sign's
fee,
still
right? I
up.
mean, if this was the last race in the NHC and there was a ton of money on the line, I probably would have changed it and I would have burned me.
Well,
But
and
again, it
it
depends
also
where you are, right?
yeah, it just depends on the position you're at, right?
Right.
So,
In a lot of cases, I think I've pointed this out on prior shows. A lot of these
11-1,
cases with the feeders,
7-3
I just try to pick a winner and move on.
for
So I did.
11-1,
3-2.
7-3
I
for
got
Switzer.
better than I thought.
oh, it drifted
Finish
up.
winner
So
first,
3-2 on
3-2.
one, and then the
Sheldon
plates on the
Russell.
other. Yeah, I'll take it.
There you go. Okay, that's a good start. All right. Okay, so we've covered, of course, when race number 2 over at Laurel Park comes, we'll get to it and we'll show the live racing. But I think we need to start working on the qualifier,
Qualifiers.
which starts in race number 5 at Belmont.
Okay. So I'm going to be smiling as soon as we start this qualifier.
Why is
I'm
that?
really. It's funny, and again, I never like to be. I'm pretty outspoken when it comes to races I like, races I don't like, and you just think that some handicappers have such different approaches than I do. I was anonymously or incognito listening to some podcasts, which I won't mention the names, just to see what some of these guys who I know, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to lead them in that I was listening. And I have to tell you, I the more that I listen to some of these respected horse players who are great players, everybody's got their ideas, and a lot of them I don't agree with. So I mean, it's like, and you can just see there's different methods. There's certain days can get it done that I would have never used in some of the tournament players and some of the other horse players. I would never have used their strategy ever. And I don't. To me, it's not the right approach, but it works sometimes, and my approach will work sometimes too. So it's just interesting. But the reason I'm smiling is we had a conversation, a couple of horse players at the track, and if there's somebody who's here who's listening that was sitting behind me in the grandstand on Belmont Stakes Day, I apologize. I didn't have any adult beverages that day. But I still don't remember your name. You might be watching, but very nice meeting you. And I hope you enjoyed those profits that we made. But the reason why is the conversation came up, Scotty, is like, what days will you play? What days will you won't? And today would be a day, looking at the card, if I was in a live money tournament on track, I'd probably pass because there's a lot of New York State turfbred races. So yeah, I'm smiling because I'm going to be kind of a wise guy today and look for some prices that I normally do. So,
well, we need your help. I mean, this is your home track, so
yeah, my home track, and it's like I say, I never want a tournament to come down to 12 horse field, going 2 turns, maiden special weights, maidens on the turf, full field going 2 turns, and that's what we got in the 9th race today. So we'll take it one step at a time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember this correctly, but you said when we talked about you winning the NHC, you used your home field advantage playing horses from this track, correct?
Yeah, actually, a little bit to the contrary. My first couple of years when I went, I think my downfall, Scotty, was concentrating too much on Aqueduct and Saratoga the one year they had it in August due to the pandemic. I'm like a wise ass, right? Oh, I know this circuit so well. Nobody's going to beat me at Aqueduct or Belmont. I'm a Naira guy. So then I just started concentrating, like, I know these horses. This horse is going to run. He's ready for a good race. So I think I was, basically concentrating too much on races I thought I knew. So I think a blessing in disguise in 2022 was that they canceled Aqueduct on Saturday and Sunday due to weather. So I had a winner or two that catapulted me to a good spot on Friday. But what it did was force me to use my brain and use the basic handicapping 101s. Like, oh shit, I got to play Laurel now, and I've got to play. So I sat there the night before and really went through this card. No cockiness, no arrogance going in. It's like, I know this track. I'm like, I'm going to struggle today. I really have to do my work. I can handicap. I've been doing this 15. You take me to some, random track in the middle of New Mexico, give me a form, and I'll start handicapping and hopefully pick a few winners. But you have to do the work so I think it was a blessing in disguise. So with that being said, let's move on to handicap the difficult races coming up at the Vegas. So I'm putting the work in. I want to let you know I put a lot of work in because I was struggling with this card.
Good. I need some help. Hola, Oscar. You know what? I haven't even looked. I didn't even play Sunday in an NHC event, and the last 2 weeks, I was, when I tell you, like, I don't know if you saw my finishes, but I was like right out of the money in the NHC events in almost every one of them. It was so frustrating. So Sunday, I decided, you know what? I'm not even going to play. Let's see. I really don't even know where I stand. I probably am. Maybe.
No, you're still in second.
Oh, yeah. I'm still in second. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look at that. I mean, you want to talk about amazing handicappers, right? I mean, Greg Lewis, Nick Noche, Brett Wiener is insane. Phil Motzat. I mean, Ronald Tang is incredible. Joe Costello, of course, is insane. Won this 2 of the last 3 years. So, well, I escaped a little bit then last week. It's been 2 weeks and I haven't gotten any points. So it's very frustrating when you're actually trying to do well, which I am. And you need to be, within the, top 14 and you get 16th, that type of thing, you know what that's like. And it's frustrating.
Oh yeah. And the thing, Scotty, in the past, these tough beats used to really get me, right? You felt like, how many tournaments do you get nipped out by 10 cents? Was it last week? I was in a tournament I got nipped for 4th by 10 cents. Oh. So I think it was a feeder. So, but they used to bother me, and used the same thing with playing live money on track. So many times I was in the top 3 or 4 or 5 when I first started playing, and then I just at the end I would get just totally demoralized. I get and I'm like, okay. So when I finally had a lead in an on track tournament, I'm like, my mentality is still in 2017 was, how am I going to blow this? How is somebody going to catch me? I can't win these things against these respected names, these guys, and the names intimidated me. And I'm like, Scott, it's like, give you a hypothetical example. I'm in a live money tournament and I never played, and I see a guy, Scotty McKeever, creeping up on my butt. When I had first, I'm like, Scotty McKeever, he's a pick 6 guy. He's got EquinEdge. I'm screwed. So I don't let the names intimidate me. Yeah. And it took me years to block out the names and just play your game. Don't get intimidated. It's easier said than done, right? Not letting the tough beats affect you, because mentally we're all human. It's like frustrating when you're right there and you get beat, at the last race in one of these tournaments. But if you don't have the mentality to move on and shake it off, you're never really going to be successful, because these bad beats will stay with you. And if you had a lot of bad beats, recently, to me, my advice would be take a 2-week break. There's nothing wrong with refresh, like a vacation. You're burnt out at work, so you take a vacation. You come back fresh, and I did that before the NHC, the last 2 NHCs. So that's a strategy that has worked for me. Go in fresh.
Yeah, I had so I took Sunday off. I lost I think about a month ago my second seat for the NHC. I lost it by $1.40. I got 3rd. So that's, but you have to, and I'm getting better at it, but it's, we're still human at the end of the day. And then, those things are super frustrating. Right. And then, and not only that too, like people would be lying if they didn't say that they're proud to be up at the top of that board, that leaderboard. I mean, those are the best of the best in horse racing. So, and then to lose points for, a couple of spots, that could be frustrating. And so, luckily I had, I have Anna there to talk me off the ledge, so, but no, I took off Sunday and I was fine. We hung out over at the Ocala and started looking at some 2-year-olds in training, and that was a lot of fun too. So, but
yeah. And the one thing I want to point out while it pops in my head, the more that I watch these live money tournaments, and the one I participated in last weekend, there's familiar names. I was like in the first day or two, I was in the top 5 for a lot of the tournament. And you see the names, and I know I'm not going to mention any names, but when I saw them catapulting me with that bankroll, I'm like, oh, I know how they're going to play. They're going all in on the last race. This guy, the guy who's in third, is not going in all in on the race. He'll leave himself he'll use probably 50% of his bankroll. So then I look and I'm like, okay, so if he loses that race and he loses that race, what do I need to? So you learn a lot, by playing in these tournaments. And I still haven't gotten a hand. I kind of have a handle on Scotty McKeever.
Oh yeah,
but if we're in the top 5,
you already know I'm going all in.
You're going all in. Even if you could hold and finish second and get your BC seat, NHC seat, you want to win it. And it depends, the risk reward thing for me.
No, so and by the way, I don't recommend that life for anybody.
Right.
No, I don't.
Right.
That's just kind of I'm actually been, I actually showed a lot of discipline in winning the Pegasus tournament. I was in the lead by $5,000, but there's people, there people had, $60,000, $70,000, some whatever it was, 50,000, and I was, and I'm like, oh man, it took everything for me to not make a play, because I don't want to leave it to somebody else I want to control that myself. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay disciplined. I'm not going to bet. If somebody passes me, they pass me. And I sat still. And then I had to wait a half hour before they finally showed the final results after the last race. I mean, that was horrible.
Right. Yeah.
But
and the one thing I'll just say while we're on this topic is that one of the Breeders' Cup, the BCBC, right? I will never go all in with 100,000 on a horse to win, unless it was Flightline. Okay, to me, Flightline, that was a bet that probably couldn't lose unless the jockey fell off. Right?
I agree.
However, I will never go all in on a horse in the Belmont Stakes who can't get out of the gate on a speed favoring track. I am never going to key on a favorite like that. And I'm never going to key in a live money contest coming down to the last race where I'm in contention on a horse that I don't like, that because I just need to catapult myself up in a live money.
No,
I will. Right. And if I like a horse, I'll go all in. But I've got to like the horse, right?
No, that's good.
If I don't like the race, I'll try to hit some $100 straight triples to try to get me to that point. I'm not going to invest all my money on that.
Yeah, I in the BCBC a few years ago, I blew up. I mean, I literally had Flightline singled, of course, and then I had I forget the name of the horse for second, and it broke down, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, I felt like I had that race covered, but I didn't. And I think I would if I would have just stayed alone. I would have finished like 5th, I think, in that tournament, which is still amazing.
And that's Keeneland?
No,
that's the BCBC at Keeneland. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you a quick story. I was in that too, and we hadn't had the pleasure of meeting yet. I don't believe that was before the Eclipse Awards when we first were introduced to each other. Yeah, and I have to tell you, I was so sure that Flightline was going to win, and I had enough bankroll, and I'm like, you know what I wanted to do, Scotty? I wanted to play a single straight $1,000 triple, and I decided not to do that. I was going to try some other options to try to get myself in the top 5, and they didn't really pan out. So I was going to be conservative. Like, I'll take my existing balance that was a profit, and I'll run. And then, of course, that $1,000 triple did come out. And I started calculating. I'm like, oh, shit, I probably should have played that $1,000 triple. So, again, it depends on what your comfort level is. Sure. I had a good bankroll, and 1,000 was probably about 30%, 40% of my bankroll. 30% maybe. Probably less than that. Yeah. So.
All right, so why don't you start us here? It looks like the 5 has a big chance going gate to wire. It's interesting that the EE morning line on the 5 is 7-2. What do you think of this horse?
On the 5 horse here, okay, here we go, Scotty. Just give me a second. I am kind of out of my sorts here. I'm looking for my notes on
What's up,
this
Joe?
race.
All
right, okay. Yeah, hey, Joe. All right, so this race, we've got a 1 16th, 40,000 claimer on the turf, 9 wins at 2 lifetime. So you've got horses who have proven they don't like to win too often. You've got some horses. One of them is a repeat offender, St. Joe Louis. I mean, I don't know how many times I've used this horse in horizontal wagers, and this horse just never comes through. He's 1 for 18 lifetime. You don't want a horse like this. Very funny. He's 1 for 8. Young Frau's 1 for 13. The 5 horse is a speed. This horse should be around for a long time. The one thing I'm not sure of is I'm not sure that this horse can. I'm not sold on this horse at the price. And Scotty, I have history with somebody in here, so I'll get to it. And the horse that I'm going to try to make here, that I've been on for like years, and I can't let this horse beat me. It's like you're married to a horse, and I've seen this horse. I know this horse. This horse goes off at huge, gigantic prices, and I can't begin to tell you how long I've been waiting for this horse to drop in class. And I'm like, why don't you just put him into a claimer? You know, why are we running at the allowance level, state bred allowance, distance races? I think this horse has a little bit of ability, believe it or not. And I've been watching this horse. This horse is the 8 Noble Huntsman. You can go ahead and laugh, go ahead and mock me, but you do have one angle today, blinkers on. And I have to tell you, I had this horse back at March 22nd, 1.125 miles. I thought this horse was sitting on a race in a week, races. This horse was closer to the pace in that race than this horse has been in a long time. And I thought, I'm like, I'm going to get a second on this horse. I was just looking for a place bet. So this horse dropped to a 40,000 claimer. Didn't break well. This horse was 39.40 to 1. However, puts blinkers on. I see this horse maybe waking up a bit, but I just can't let this horse beat me, Scotty. So I'm on Noble Huntsman as my main play. And the other horse, again, I'm looking for another price, is King Freud. This horse, again, is 1 for 9. Drops way down from the allowance level down to 40,000 claimers. So I'm trying to be trying to look for price with long shots here. So I am going to try to squeeze Noble Huntsman in, and then my second pick would be King Freud. I'm looking for some prices here.
All right. So when just to play devil's advocate, okay, but it looks like that kind of race too. So I actually am looking at this horse thinking, it has a shot. That being said, it doesn't even have any in the money finishes and 8 tries at these conditions. So that's a ballsy pick. It is 8 to 1 on the EquinEdge morning line, which for me gives the horse some hope, because I don't know why this horse isn't 50 to 1 on the EE morning line.
Yeah, you would. Well, hey, listen, this horse goes off at 39, 65, 26, 19, 11, 47, 26, 52, 55 to 1. So right up my alley. But yeah. I'm saying this is the type of race now that you look for at the NHC. You look for long shot races. Where can you get? So basically, you're looking for a weak field, right, with inconsistent form. And this is the type of race that always, in my opinion, cries out for a long shot. We saw it on Belmont Stakes Day in Saratoga. It was the 13th of the 2 races afterwards. We had some crazy long shot that knocked me out of everything, and I would have had a real profit, really even more profitable than I had. And I'm like, well, it was a 21 to 1 shot, and that was the race that cried out for a long shot. So to me, this race, Noble Huntsman one day is going to run, and I'm going to have him. And if you know what, if he doesn't run and he goes low enough, I might even claim this horse. Because I think I could get this horse to win. Maybe I'm a horse whisperer with this. There's something about this horse that I like, and I've seen this horse run. I'm like, this horse I like how this horse moves, but it's just not moving when it counts, I guess.
Right.
So
Well, the trainer is like kept this horse in an allowance race until last time he finally like gave up and put
yeah,
this horse in for a tag. And here's the thing.
and
It got fifth. It lost by 8 3/4 lengths, and it got shut off after the break. So this horse had issues in that race.
yeah, and the horse doesn't usually have speed, and I understand this horse is getting what he needs to come from far back. But I got hope on a couple of those dirt races. This horse was closer to the pace than he normally is. And again, you'll have horse players say, "Well, that was because the pace was so slow. There's no speed." And of course, the horse is going to be close to the pace, right? Understood. But I still think this horse has a little sneaky form. We'll see. We'll see. But it
So
gave me off to a good start.
I find it interesting that John Velasquez, who is somebody that's get a horse to relax so well. I think that the win percentage going up, second off the layoff, he decides to get back on this horse. I think it speaks volumes. This horse is going to go off as your favorite, although we're showing 7-2 on the E morning line. I think it looks like that kind of race. I want to kind of like this horse a little bit because I don't think this horse ran on the synthetic last time out. I don't think it wanted the synthetic. Bumped early, had some issues. This one horse certainly has a look. 8 second-place finishes. But honestly, this horse is lighter raced. Not really a proven loser, honestly. Even though like it seems to have the lead and then just stops. I mean, that's a little scary if you're, this horse is going to be right there, but it seems to me like one of these long shots is going to get up. So I'm going to run the simulator and just see like who do we see closing, right? Let's see. So the 5's.
Oh, the 8's flying like with giant strides on the outside, of course.
Let's see here. Here comes the 1. Here comes the 2. Nobody's really making up a ton of ground other than the 1. 2's an interesting horse. What do you think of the 2 horse? I mean, it just broke its maiden for Abreu, and Vasquez is back aboard. Been aboard for all 3 tries off the layoff. I mean, this isn't a bad horse here. I think. Can it rate? I don't know.
If you're a fan of a 2-year layoff, that's not my angle. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's not mine either because clearly this horse was a talented horse, but clearly there's a tendon involved here when you're off that long. Usually, this 5 just continues to stop. I'm looking at the race where it won and it did okay. I'm just wondering why this horse stops so badly when it seems like this horse should win. Let's see. Tom Morley is 18% first off the layoff, second off the layoff, 16%, which isn't bad. This is you want to talk about a rough one. Here's the thing. You take a horse like the 5 is going to be the favorite and it loses and you get beat by anybody other than the 1 and the 2. You're behind. You're behind big time.
Yeah. And just want to point out too, Scotty, the reason I can't get past I can't use the 5. This horse just seems to be losing ground in the last 16th of a mile in every race it runs. So I'm thinking this horse definitely doesn't want to go a mile in the 16th. May not even want to go a mile. The last 2 mile races, it had the lead both times coming down the stretch and just this horse just seems to pack it in no matter what distance. It's just late. It just doesn't have the winning type of profile.
No, and look at this race. You've got Flavian Pratt's aboard the 9. King Freud looks like a decent horse. Maybe this is the horse. I mean, it's getting easier competition. This might be the horse. What do you think of this horse?
Yeah, that's my second pick. Yeah, I'd be using 8-9 here. Yeah, this horse is a huge drop down. Freuds are good on the turf. There's a ton of Freud New York State bred sires. I mean, yeah, this horse. To me, if the 8 is ever going to run, today's the day, and if the 9 can run, today could be the day. I mean, you're dealing with against horses here who just don't have winning profiles.
So on Royal Ascot, I'm going to look to see if we have that. We don't, of course, get foreign data, but sometimes we have those horses. I have to check and see if we're going to be like putting those horses up. I'll look into that for sure.
Scotty?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Laurel, I believe, is getting close to post time second race.
Let's see here. I'm struggling in this race. I got to tell you. Of course, I'm playing in the qualifier, but I'm struggling. Okay, let's go to Laurel race number 2, and then you've got the 5 horse, and I've got the 7 horse. The 7 horse is getting bet. The 5 horse right now is at 9-2. What are your thoughts here? 6-5 on the 4. We knew that horse would be the favorite. I'm a little surprised that the 5 horse isn't the second choice. You?
No. I thought the 5 horse actually at that price right now. I just put another little bob on it. I thought the 4 would be the prohibitive favorite. That's why I didn't want the 4. That's the one we talked about, the GSR. Yeah, I wanted at 5-1, but yeah, I actually think the 5 is going to take more late money here. Well, we'll see how it goes. No, up to 9-2. Just as I say that, it clicks up to 9-2. Show you what I know.
Is there anything, David, do you ever look at the demeanor of horses when they're walking to the gate? Do you feel like you have a good eye for what you're looking for, or maybe even what you're not looking for, and maybe you would take a bet off?
Yeah, I usually would do that if I'm at the track. Like the advantage of being at a tournament this past weekend at Saratoga, that I can watch the horses in a paddock. I can watch them come on the track, and I've sometimes changed my opinion watching horses on the track, but I only usually do that when I'm on track. It's kind of tough to tell from a TV monitor what's going on, because a lot of times when you see what you want to see from a horse, it's off camera. You see them warming up. When I'm at Saratoga, I'm right looking at the stretch while the horses are warming up. The camera might not be on the horse at the time where I see how well the horse looks, or the type of demeanor, or if the horse is sweating. So usually I only make those adjustments if I'm on track. Very rarely, the thing that I'll throw a horse out, if it's the high level claimer and it's first time front bandages, I'll see that on a TV monitor. Sometimes I'll change my opinion and switch my horse. And there's certain trainers who put fronts on regularly. It doesn't bother me, but I know certain trainers very rarely put fronts on these claimers unless there's some kind of ouchiness. I don't want to see that. Yeah.
How
about yourself?
Oh yeah. First of all, if a horse breaks, and breaks through the gate before the race, I'm out on that. If the horse is sweating profusely, and especially in the back and the legs, that's just a bad sign.
Yeah. I'll allow that out. Yeah.
I'll give you one that a lot of people don't really notice is when a horse is with the pony horse, and instead of just kind of relaxed and looking around, is completely like sideways facing the pony horse. That's a negative sign to me.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of people don't know to look for. I thought the 7 horse, honestly, the horse I chose, I thought the 7 horse actually made a really nice appearance. Let's see what happens here.
Okay, here we go. Good luck, everybody.
Pure Realization was the first away, along with Minnie Mo. Coronation Time is right out there, right off the top pair, and right quick from the inside, moving along into 4th. Here's the Scribe racing 5th as they move to the main portion of the track, and General JR is well back now. It is Pure Realization making the pace against the rail. Minnie Mo right there, 2nd, and Coronation Time is sharp outside 3rd, and
nice.
Right Quick is 4th, following the lead. And then back to a Scribe is racing in 5th position.
4
4 lengths of the pacemakers now, as Pure Realization still holds that lead from Minnie Mo, and outside Coronation Time, right quick 4th at the rail.
Slow.
A patient 5th and 5 from the front as they head on for the far turn run.
And
General JR still last of them all. Into the turn they roll now, and it is Pure Realization from Minnie Mo by 3/4 of a length. Coronation Time. Right
David.
Quick still at the rail, loses a spot there.
Yeah, the 5 got the jump on the 4.
Scribe now trying to rev up. Here comes a Scribe from 4th with 3 furlongs left to go. Will come widest toward the top of the stretch. A Scribe 4 deep, Blue Silks. They turn for home, and here's a Scribe on the outside, a Scribe to take the lead, a Scribe from Coronation Time, then Pure Realization battles on, followed by Minnie Mo. Right Quick has come off the inside, upper stretch, and it is a Scribe, and Jamie Rodriguez taking a peek back, opening up 3 lengths on Coronation Time. The outside is Right Quick, who's moved to 3rd. Final furlong, it's a Scribe. All a Scribe now. Name the margin. 5, 6, almost 7. A Scribe from Coronation Time. Right Quick going to make it interesting for 2nd, and General JR comes running along for 4th.
4 or 5. 1, it looked like.
I don't know. Did the 5 hold on for second?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, 4, 5.
All right. So I got a 5 on both of my tickets for a place bet. So
Yeah.
it won't get as much as the
Nothing wrong
win,
with that.
but
No, you're good.
Yep.
You're good. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'll watch the 5. I'm 90% sure got second. Let's see here. We can watch the.
yeah, and then we got to check the leaderboard after this race. Let's see.
Yeah, easily. 4, 5, 1.
Yeah. Oh, easy. Yeah. He concerned me that the announcer when I couldn't see the finish. It's like, oh, it's going to make it interesting for a second. And I'm like, well, interesting. Yep. Usually when it's interesting, I lose.
Got race number 1 at the Big A coming in 4 minutes. Now we can't watch it, but we can turn the volume up and listen to it. The Big A. Let's see here. You have the 4-horse ribbons and medals. For whatever reason, we don't have the live odds up, and I don't know why. Let's see here.
All right, let me see if I can. All right, we've got the 2 is morning is 9 to 5. The 1 is 5 to 2. The 4 is 7 to 2. Those are your prices. And who did you have here, Scotty?
I have the 1-horse.
Right. Okay. That horse is 5 to 2. So if I'm looking, the 2 normally has positional speed. The 2 has no excuse. But I think I would, if in this race, I'm going to play an exacta to the 1-4-4. I'm looking for a 2-speed number, 1-4-4-1. I just think the 4 is a better play than the 1. Like I said, my issue is the connections. You got to show me that they can claim a horse and move it up.
They're working on the live odds. It's amazing how the tote situation works sometimes because they changed the name to Belmont at the Big A.
Oh,
and the system doesn't recognize the live odds coming from there. It's just the little things that you have to do to keep things going. That you think, okay, we've already done that work. We don't. It's just constant work.
I can only imagine, Scotty. I'm not on that end, so.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I mean, it's just the damn name. It's the same track. Why the hell? Just give us the odds. You got back $3.20 for the place, and you really didn't lose that much ground for anybody that used the 4-horse because that horse paid $3.60 and $2.40. So not bad, $6. So
and we've got 2 main big names tied for the leaderboard here with a bunch of people, and the first 2 are Trey Styles and Michael Bachuk. Hello, Mike.
Okay. Yeah,
champ.
Look at that.
We got a champ there and a highly elite Trey Styles contest player. Stephen Fitzpatrick. Just let's see how many people we have tied at $13.80. I have $11. I'm looming there and tied for 18th with a couple of hundred people, it seems. But
okay. You're good.
Yeah, top 28. So I have 22nd on one entry and 34th on the other. We got 141 entries. So the top 28 get in. Good luck, everybody who's in.
28. Let me ask you a question. Your 4-horse right now is what the 4 to 1. So the EE morning line. What do you make of that? Does you think the horse is going to get back down? What were you expecting?
No, I was a little surprised with the morning line, to be honest with you, Scotty, at 5 to 2, because I didn't see this horse being 5 to 2. I thought the 1 should most likely be the second choice in the race, right. But I don't begrudge anybody who does the morning line maker. It's not an easy job with all the races you have to do. No. But I was figuring I'd get more than 5 to 2. I didn't really think I liked this horse at 5 to 2. So I'm getting the price I anticipated. 9 to 2, even better. So just give me a second here. All right.
So morning, we talked about this 1-horse going gate to wire. Certainly, it certainly has a good look. Although you weren't really big on this trainer winning too often over at Belmont. But this is this is a wide open race.
Yeah. Now, and again, I shouldn't have that bias, but the bottom line is that there's some things you can't get out of your head. I mean, I just this horse had a really good race on the April 28th off the claim. It was the same trainer. If it was Linda Rice, I most likely make this my best bet of the day. But you've got to show me that you can claim a horse from Linda Rice and keep it the same in the same form, or elevate that form. And again, this horse maybe only a 6 furlong horse. I'm not sure. I've never won at 6.5. Only started twice, so there's not enough data samples there. But if this was, I still think the one has a really good chance to wire this field. But I'm gonna, like I said, 4 at 6 to 1. It should be stalking. So I like that. I like that even better now. The 4 horse, because I think the 2 is totally overbet. So even money on the 2.
I'm gonna put this at the first call, so we can kind of see what the simulation is saying compared to the way the race is going to play out. Although we can't watch the race, I will turn it up.
Yeah, if I was Gomez, actually, I'd like to see the 4 just gun to the lead and take a 2-length lead come out of the gate. I'd rather see that. So.
Okay, they're almost loaded. There goes the 5-horse First Deputy, and Honorary Degree is going to be on the outside. And let's see what happens here. And hopefully,
right, good luck, everybody.
The 1 is done. Okay. Well, Dave, you got a fighting shot. You're trying, but this 2's got some decent strides. You're going to have to fight for second. And here comes the 3.
Yeah.
Fine, Mike.
Oh, now here come the closers. I'm screwed now.
Whoa. 6 is going to get it. That's the longest shot on the board.
Honorary Degree.
And we kind of talked
so
about
now,
that.
Right. So here's my concern that I had going into the day, Scotty.
18-1. Wow.
Right. And this horse, the trainer is 0 for 12 at the meet. This horse has won a race over the track. But this is the concern that I had coming into the day, and I think I might have referenced this earlier, is that we haven't raced on this track in 2 weeks. I'd be curious to see how the track is playing.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, we were up at Saratoga, and it was a speed friendly track. I'll put it that way. And I kind of anticipated that going in. I think we mentioned that on that Belmont preview show, that especially 2-turn races, usually you want to be close to the pace. You got to just be careful. There's not a lot of dirt races today, so I'm really not as concerned. But it could be a closer's track. You had 2, 18-1 over 12-1, and they're both closers. So we'll see. We'll see how
I honestly, sometimes when you see these horses closing like that, David, it appears like it's closers. When you really look at this race, I just think the horses, that these were bad horses up front. They were dueling, and they slowed down, and it appeared as if the track was. I don't think we learned anything from this.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, I just think
looking at
the front, we're stopping.
Yeah, looking at the fractions, 22 and change, 45 for the half. That's a solid pace going 6.5 on that track. So
$10,000 claimers, right? And we had talked about this too. Like when one of the things that with the simulated race that I'm trying to learn as well, and that is when you have, like, if you look here and you have the 6 horses only 2.44 lengths behind the 1 horse, who we agreed could be vulnerable. The 2 horse could definitely be vulnerable. Look, I mean, it burned money at 37%, lost by 15 lengths. I mean, that's never a good sign. And watch, if you just take those 2 out, now look, the 6 is only a length and a quarter out. So, in retrospect, I think that's the way, I'm just trying to figure my way out around with the simulator as well. But when you look at that, I think start doing that more often and get rid of these favorites and then see what the race looks like then and take the price horse.
Right. Well, I was right that I had my reservations about Morning Cup. So, but the speed just got fried there. So move on and go to the next one.
We are struggling, and it's my fault on the Belmont race number 5. So let's look at that race. I'm really struggling with that race. So what I'm going to do is run to the finish, and we said that we were talking about how this horse has been off since 2022. This horse has burned a ton of money, but you might get 5 or 6 to 1 on the 1 horse St. Joe Louis. It's 20% to win. The simulator has the horse running pretty good. I don't know. I'm struggling in this race. You know what's throwing me off as well? So many of these horses are the surge indicators going in the wrong direction, which means when you see these red arrows going down, every one of these horses dropping 10 or more points down on the turf. And they have low win percentages. It's really hard for me to use horses like that. We tend to see horses with higher GSRs win these races. So then when you look at this, the 2 horse has been off 2 years. Who's the next logical horse? It's the 1. but and it's been off a layoff. Maybe off the layoff, Rosario jumps aboard. Maybe this horse can finally get there. It has burned a lot of money, though, hasn't it?
I won for 18. We have 8 second place finishes. I don't think this. If you're using the 1, I will tell you. If you want to use the 1, and the 1 wins, I will owe you a smoothie. I will buy you a smoothie if the 1 wins this race.
I'm using the 1 only because I can't find a really good long shot that I can make a case for. I personally can't. Would I be surprised if any horse in this race wins? I wouldn't. But I'm gonna say that off the layoff, maybe they figured something out, and maybe the 1 horse can get there, and the 5's going to stop like it normally does somehow. Although I really am a big fan of Velasquez, but I mean this 5 just stops too badly to believe, and I think the 2 might pressure the 5 horse a little bit is what I'm hoping for, and then the 1's going to be sitting in a garden position if good enough, and I think that the 1 might get a nice trip, saving ground from the inside off the layoff. That's going to be my angle, like you always talk about. You have to have an angle. I agree.
Okay.
All right. Race number. Okay, so the 6th race over at Belmont is leg number 2. All right.
Let's leg 2. Okay,
yes,
we'll go to that. Yeah.
I'm going to sort from the outside post, and so you can see. It looks like there's a lot of speed in the race. 1, 2, and 5. We'll look at their style in a second to see if they need the lead. I think we can easily throw out the 7 horse. 6 could help with the pace a little bit. 6 is a need the lead type, which seems to help our cause in maybe horses coming from behind. 3 horse is really finishing fast. Here comes the 4. The 5 horse finishing fast too. When you look at the leaders of speed at the first call, I think the 6 was up there too. Yeah, the 6 is up there. And let's look at the 1 style. So the 1 horse definitely needs to be near the lead, and it draws the rail. So I would argue with you that it needs the lead. So I think you can count on Flavian Pratt sending this horse. And then you look at the 2 horse, Geopolitics. Here's a horse that absolutely needs the lead. It just broke its maiden. Horses that break their maidens only come back to win 5% of the time against winners. And it's going to have a lot of speed on the inside. And here's a horse that is not exactly a big time winner. Irad, and here's another horse that looks to need the lead as well. So you could see two of the three. You could see like the 5 horse, the 1, and the 2 just absolutely dueling up front. So let's just say that is the case, and we threw these 3 out. Now we're going to throw the 6 out, and now we see what's going to happen here. And look, the 3, 4, and 8 are just neck and neck, but the 3 horse is 2-1 on the E morning line. But man, it's dropping from a 69 GSR to a 53. I just don't like that. Like I don't think this horse wants the turf. So I would play against the 3, no matter what the simulator says, and then maybe the 4 or 8. They're both 12-1 on the E morning line. What do you think of that handicapping?
Yeah, that's a good analysis there, Scotty. The 2 horses that interest me here, I'm not going to use the 1. The horse just looks too logical for me. This horse looks like it's going to have the lead, but the 2, she's going to press, and I really do like Belmont, first time turf. Central Bankers can run on turf. These New York State breds.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yes, you get credit for win and place. Okay, go ahead, David. Finish that.
Yes, 2 win plays. Yeah, thanks, Scotty. So I don't. Again, Brad Cox has tons of success all over the country, but for some reason, I mean, this horse. With New York breds, his success is not to the same percentage as it is with other Kentucky bred, whatever breds. But I'm just not sold on this horse. I don't love Solomini's on the turf, so I'm going to let this horse beat me on the turf, Sohana. I prefer Geopolitics on the turf first time out, the central banker, and 5-2 morning line. The issue is with that horse. Twice this horse has failed as favorites. I mean, the last time was odds on, and that concerns me. So you've got 2 dirt races, both finished second, and both as a favorite. This horse maybe doesn't have that winning profile yet, and still learning the game. So I'm going to use the 2 in probably on one of my tickets, but the horse I'm really trying to get home here, Scotty, is the 4. Being Betty. This horse is raced exclusively on turf. The first 2 turf races were sprint races. 1 on this course, 6 furlongs last September as the favorite in a New York State bred race. Then moved into an open company small stakes, 120,000 stake for open company, and ran basically straight shot to a mile and ran an even 5th. Okay, nothing wrong with that race. Higher class, off a layoff, comes back, doesn't really run too well, just a run around the track. However, that doesn't bother me. I'll give one race to any horse off a layoff. Phil Serpy's barn has been good. He's got limited horses, and he's a real good trainer. Sneaky good. And Liscano picks back up the mount here. And so I think I'm going to key on the 4. So it would be the 4 being Betty over the 2 Geopolitics for me.
All right. So the way I look at this horse, there's a story behind all of it. And you have to get in the trainer's head. When I look at this, horse had issues in its first race from the 3 hole, broke 10, still only lost by 6 1/4 lengths, and then dropped into what I think is a little bit easier field. By the way, these were state breds, right? So these were New York breds, and the horse was 30% to win. And look at the GSR go up to a 78, and the horse broke from the rail and dueled the entire way and held. Clearly, this horse has talent. Then it clearly has its issues as well. So it was off a couple of months. Comes in here, faces a 68 group in a non-graded stakes race, but that non-graded stakes race was open company, and then drops to 9% and doesn't run a terrible race, loses by 5 lengths, then goes on the shelf again until last time out. This race was a back to state breds allowance race, going 8.5 furlongs, and the horse broke last and didn't run good. At the stretch was only 5.5 lengths back. That's key. So it broke bad. It was 12.5 lengths back at the second call, and the stretch only 5.5 lengths. So it was moving. But now look at the GSR Plus grid. This horse is all turf and all sprint. Look at that. So now gets back to the best distance, 6 furlongs, and there's a bunch of cheap speed in here. Not that these are bad horses, because they're actually not, but there's a lot of speed horses that style needs the lead. This race absolutely sets it up for this horse second off the layoff. You can see the GSR going up. This horse broke its maiden at the same surface and distance. The 4 horse is absolutely live. I don't know why the horse is 12-1 on the morning line, but Being Betty is live. I love your horse. The other one that you should consider is the 8. Horse broke 9th last time out off the layoff. That wasn't a bad effort. And it's interesting they put this horse in this race because it's still this horse is a maiden. Still not won a race, but yet Clement, who's sitting at 16%, he believes this horse belongs in this race. And with all this speed, the horse didn't run bad last time while breaking bad. And off the layoff, Clement second off the layoff is 18%. I think that you're going to get some odds on this horse, and I think you have to consider the 8 horse as well. So for me, I'm going to use the 4 on one ticket. I'm going to use the 8 on the other ticket. I know you like the 4 though.
Yeah, I like the 4. I'd probably use the 2. Again, this is a Clement horse, the 8, and I will probably put a side bet on every Clement horse today. Eventually, we got to break the streak. I'm going to embrace it.
Yeah, and they're on the track for Laurel race number 3. That's coming up in 6 minutes from now. So we'll go there for the feeder. But I'm wondering if anybody in the group had used that horse or not. That the 6 horse that won. You know, in retrospect, honestly, sometimes I'm glad that race happened like that for me, anyways, because I'm learning, going, okay, how do I want to use this? How could I have seen this horse? Well, if look at the pace. Maybe the pace scenario looks like they're going to duel up front, and then get rid of those horses in the simulator, and then look to see a 6 horse that's going off at 18-1, 16-1. That's only a length and a quarter behind.
Right. We had 9. Right. And exactly. This is a contest horse. I mean, 9 people had it, Scotty, in the feeder.
Yeah.
9 contestants. So that's not
those people
not a lot.
with 6 races, David. Those people they're already qualified for sure.
They're going to be in. Right. So right now I've got 1 entry in 41st and 1 entry in 50th. Top 28. So 3 races left. I'm still there.
Yeah. I love how fast these feeders go. I don't know why I don't play in these feeders. I always just go straight to the qualifiers. But the truth is, for $18, I probably have a good chance of qualifying here and spending a lot less money than $75. So these feeders are worth it for sure.
Yeah. I can't pick it. I think, Scotty, was it 2 years ago? For a last minute, I wasn't doing anything on a Sunday, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize my plans canceled. And about 2 o'clock, I'm like, I'm sorry, about 12 o'clock. I'm like, do you know what? I got like 10 minutes to get into a feeder. I got into the feeder. I finished like 8th, and then I got my qualifier the same day, and I had a good day. So I ended up getting a seat that day. So for $18, I got a seat that one particular day. And I had no intention of playing, and I'm like, oh, my plan's canceled. What am I going to do today? Like, exactly. There's an NHC. No, you never know. $18 can get you to Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. You talk through this race here. You can see the simulated race. 1 second, I'll be right back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are we looking at the 8th race at Laurel? All right. I don't think that's in the contest, but I'm sorry. It is. It's on the. So it looks like we've got the finish. We've got the 7 over the 8. Right. It looks like a nose finish there. So let me just pull up my notes on the 8th race at Laurel. I do have my notes. I apologize. I got notes all over the place today. So the horse that I was interested in here, now we've got 3 late scratches, 1, 2, and 6. So the 8th race at Laurel. So let me get those scratches. We have 1, 2, and 6. Okay, I was just going through. I didn't realize it was the 8th race at Laurel. I thought we were looking at something else. So, we have the 7 and 8 basically finishing together. Is that how it's 7-8-3, 8-7-3?
Yep, it's all right. Wide open, and we look at the pace scenario. Go to the first call. 5 horses going to have a lead over the 8, and let's look at these 2 horses before we go on. You can see that for me, the 5 needs the lead. So the 8 has no choice other to press. And if it doesn't press, then it's, it probably, the 5 can win this race. That becomes difficult if the jockey on the 8 decides to get tricky. Sometimes when they're on the outside, because he's looking at this horse, we can clearly see this horse can rate. But if you give that 5 the lead, then so that makes the race that much tougher if you're looking at it. But and this horse will just won a non-graded stakes race for $100,000. This horse is no slouch.
Yeah, it's funny because I've gotten beat by Ain't the Beer Cold a couple of times. And one was at 36-1 on Maryland Million Day. This horse basically necked me out and got the horse who won got DQ'd, and this horse got moved up. So I mean, this horse only seems to win when it gets brave on the front end. And it happened twice, once at 12-1 and once at 36-1. But I think with the scratch of the 1 and 2, the 1 was going to have speed. So that concerns me because my pick was a closer in this race. But I think the 5 and 8 have enough speed to battle each other. I think Magic Michael will be laying 3rd, right? But the horse, and again, this might be because I have prior history with it, but I want the 4 horse here, Advanced Scholars. Ran against the group on May 27th. Many of these horses were in this race. Magic Michael, Boss Logic was Be Better in this race too. I mean, these horses run against each other quite often. What I like about this horse is now at the distance, 3 back on March 17th. That was NHC weekend. I used this horse at 15-1. This horse needs a decent pace up front. This horse, he is definitely a closer and can handle the distance. Won 4 races on this track, and is 3 for 5 on the board at the distance. Now, cuts back from 1 1/8 to 1 1/16, which may help his closing kick a bit. But the last 2 races were good. We had a 3rd, losing by 3/4 of a length to Ain't the Beer Cold and McMichael. They were right there, or Magic Michael, and they're right there again. This horse split Magic Michael and Boss Logic. So this horse is competitive against these horses, and the reason that I'm using this horse is the price. This horse is going to be a better price than probably both of those horses. So I'm looking for a price against in a competitive field where 3 or 4 horses can win. So it's all number 4 Advanced Scholars on both of my tickets, Scotty.
All right. So for me, I'm not as big a fan of that horse. I'm really surprised you're using it on both tickets, only because I don't see the speed. I just don't see it happening here. I think the 8's not going to press the 5. So the 5's going to have an easy lead, and the 8's just going to be sitting from the outside. I mean, the 8 really gets a nice trip in here. But the last couple of races, it looks like the 8 was in position and just failed. Now, Kieran McGee takes over, though, and he's 24% off the claim, and he protects this horse. So, and then that was the first race off a layoff going 9 furlongs, and now there's, cutting back in distance after showing speed, often a horse's best. I just think it's going to be really, really, really tough to beat this horse, this 8. I think you have to give the EquinEdge long shot, Shaft's Bullet, a big chance. But I don't see, in short fields like this, you don't usually see the speed duels that horse got, your 4 horse got last time out. So I hate to play against you in that situation, but I'm going to play against you. But we'll come back to this race. We've got Laurel race number 3 coming up. They're going into the gate. You have the 10-1. I had the 7-9. The 9 is the favorite at 3-1. So let's get out there.
Okay. Good luck, everybody.
I don't think you're going to get the speed, David, in that race.
Star Lifter.
At Laurel?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get that horse needs every bit of a pace duel up front. There's 5 horses in the race, right?
Agreed.
That could be a little tough. It's nothing wrong.
What a night a bit
on paper with that horse.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
For a moment, back on.
I I can't seem to make the
Again,
case
I
for it.
acknowledge you definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely need a pace. Oh,
Union
absolutely.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
As long as we have a fair track.
Burroughs Key
And
with
who do you
Angel
have here,
Cruz.
Scotty? Again, I'm sorry.
I like the 7. Remember, I think the 7 is the horse to beat.
China.
Yes.
Is the favorite
Rainer
now,
Shine,
and I
31.
really
Right, and
like
I
the
have
9 a
Gina's
lot.
10 to
And
1.
we have 4 different horses. You have 10-1. I have 7-9.
One bite.
Okay, well, hopefully one of us brings it home, right?
Yeah, no, I would hope. Watch a horse that we wanted, somebody other than the 4 horses we have are going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't play in the feeder, so I'm rooting for you. So
Okay, 10 or the 1.
They're off. Burroughs Key going right to the front. Basic Miles moves up in between horses. Border War is right there on the outside to his Union Bulldog. They're sorting out. So Basic
Union
Miles
Bulldog,
in front from
11 to
Border
1.
War,
That would be
Union
nice, David.
Bulldog, and Burroughs Key's taken back and forth as they move to the first turn run. Alongside of that is Come Rain or Shine is in between horses. Only 3 from the pace as they round that turn. British Sea at the rail. One bite is out there, 3 around the turn. Pietro
sitting a
Gina,
nice trip
about a
at
half
5 to
dozen
1.
lengths
Border
on the
War.
early pace. Another 2 to 0. What
Really
a night.
nice
And Star
looking
Lifter
stride right now.
is
Looking
trailing
good.
the field.
One's kind of
About 11
mired
lengths
at the
from
rail
front to
behind a
back.
bunch of
Basic
horses.
Miles ahead in front from
It's going to have
Border
to
War.
open
Not
up to
much
the
pace
horse.
on, really.
10
It's
horse,
Union Bulldog tracking
sitting
them
okay.
in third, and Come Rain or Shine racing fourth.
3rd on the
Burroughs Key on the
outside.
inside, 5th. One bite is 6 out of the clear.
7 horse really
Pietrocina
hasn't had a
in
good
between
trip to this
horses. Has
point.
to kick some, about
But you
5
can
for
see
the
the
front
jockey's
now.
legs are
And
like
British
forward
Sea
like
follows
this.
that, still
That means he's
saving
on the
ground.
brakes. He's going to
Star
have to
Lifter
go.
back of the pack, and 1
And,
a night
so
is
he's
the
going to have to
trailer.
make a
Border War, Come
premature
Rain or
move.
Shine. Come Rain or
And,
Shine splits horses
pretty
now
fast
with Border
fractions.
War. They go on
You know,
into the far turn from Union Bulldog.
46 and 4. I
Pietrocina
think it's okay.
has
Yeah,
moved
they're
forth
okay.
now and ridden along around the far turn. Has 3 to
9
make up.
horses got
They're
a lot
followed
of
by the
horse.
great One Bite. Basic Miles has dropped back
I
to
think the
Star
9's looking best
Lifter,
right
and Burroughs
now.
Key, British Sea, and Trillion is oh, what a
10's
night.
not done,
They
though.
race
Look
to
at
the
the
top
10
of the
trying.
stretch
No, not
now.
yet.
Come Rain or
Nope.
Shine, Border War,
All
head
out,
to head
though.
as they
Just
turn in.
working
them
Union
now. Running.
Bulldog is in
But the
third.
10's not done.
Pietrocina is in fourth. One Bite to the center
on,
of the track,
10.
trying to move up
One
from
time.
fifth. They've got a furlong left to
One
go.
time.
On the inside
Oh,
there
no 11,
is
no
Come
11.
Rain
Come
or
on,
Shine,
10.
Border War. One bite to the
Come on, 10.
outside between horses.
One time
Union
for David.
Bulldog. One bite just in front. Here's One Bite. One bite,
you're
11 to
gonna
1.
have to
One
get second.
bite. One Bite wins. Union Bulldog second. Star Lifter or
I
All right, at
don't
least
know.
I got a second. That was a good one.
That was a good race. Now, I don't know how that's going to do for you because the 11 horse is a big long shot as
Minute
well.
47.01 running.
But all right, so we've got where were we? Laurel race number 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then-
we were in
right.
Laurel
So we're
race
just
number 8.
discussing that you can't make a case for advanced scholars because of the lack of speed, which I acknowledge. You're going to have to get a pace up front, but
So when we look here, I mean, the 5 is well in front of the 8. I guess, you know, maybe we have to really, who wins this race has everything to do with what happens between the jockey on the 5 and the 8. Would you agree with that?
exactly. There's got to be an aggressive pace. If the 5 or the 8 get off slow, I'm probably done. Yeah, and I think the 3's got positional speed, right? And Magic Michael's not that slow, so maybe these horses. I'm just thinking that
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the 4 gets enough pace. And again, the other thing I do like, I think this horse is rounding into form, Advanced Scholars, because of that May 21st workout. So we had a May 21st workout that was good. This horse closed into a pretty solid pace that day and finished second and split 2 horses that were in this race. So yeah. And I can't bet Ain't the Beer Cold. This horse, to me, the only time it has to have a clear lead and get brave, and I don't think you're going to have that situation here.
The jockey on that's on the 3 horse, Torrialba. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure I am. I apologize. He got off the 4 horse.
And he gets on to 3. I think
3, and he rode that horse 3 times in a row. Now, I mean, it might have put Ruiz on, but are you putting an 11% jockey on
against a 22% jock? Yeah,
seems like a lateral move to me. But the Boss Logic, this horse got claimed. The last couple of races kind of disappointed, no doubt about it. But prior to that, had rattled off 4 straight. I mean, this is a horse that's super tactical. 13 wins in 31 races. I mean, that's pretty tremendous. If we look at the record, the 7 horse is interesting. It's 5-2 on the E morning line, and also the second pick. We haven't even talked about this horse. This horse won last time out. Last couple of races were at 9 furlongs, a second and a first. This just speaks to how difficult this particular race is.
Yeah, short field and difficult. I mean, you got most horses here can win. And the thing I wanted to point out about the jockey switch, I forgot to mention. I'm not really concerned about the jockey change on the 4 jockey flip-flop because of the trainers. We've got Phil Capuano on the 4 and Gary Capuano on the 3. They probably have a deal going with these jockeys. So it's like, who do you want to ride today? So
yeah, that's a pretty big pace advantage the 5 horse has as well. Like, I mean, this horse needs the lead. If you look at the last 2 times this horse got the lead, it won both those races at this level.
But it had the only time in both of those races clear lead with no pressure whatsoever. So that, to me, that seems like the only time the horse can win. So if anybody presses this horse, that would be my concern.
I mean, it's going to be a length and in a quarter, length and a half in front of the 8. I think the jockey on the 8 though could put that horse anywhere he wants. I mean, the truth is, like, here's the problem with the unfortunately, CC Lopez is going to have to make the decision. Is he going to press this horse? Is he going to sit back? If he sits back, the 5 can win this race, and you're going to get good odds on the 5 probably. And then if he does go with the 5, then who's that set up for? I mean, you can see the 3 is coming fast, still coming, 4's coming, 7's coming. That 7 really makes a nice move, but like, I don't see them flying so much that it helps the 7 horse who's got a 3 on the pace number. I don't like that. That's tough to get up and win at, like, when you're that far back. So that horse figures to be last. They don't figure to be going that fast. I really want to like the 3 horse as well. What do you make of this 3 horse?
3's got a legitimate contender. Again, this horse has lost to Magic Michael a couple of times, but also reversed it. So, I mean, these horses can take turns beating each other. And on April 13th, you got Ain't the Beer Cold, McMichael, and Van Scholars, and then Shaft's Bullet was 5th. So you could see these horses race against each other all the time. So my approach was to look for the horses that have the horse who has a shot, who's the best price, and to me that's just Van Scholar. But yeah, the 3's obvious contender. Yeah.
All right. So who are you going to go with? You're going to go with the 4? You're going to stick with it?
I'm going with the 4, and if I had 2 tickets, which I'm not sure I will. I would use the 4 and both tickets.
You would use the 4 on
yeah, sometimes you got to take a stand. Yeah.
I love it. You got to stick with your guns, but we got to give everybody out there, like, all sides, right? And a true opinion. By the way, if you didn't see the EE weekend preview show yesterday, it was me and Oldie yesterday. We gave out 10 consensus top plays, what we're calling free squares this weekend. And if you go to YouTube, you can see that and you can find those plays. Also, probably on Twitter, probably on Oldie. I think Oldie might have it up, or Chris might have it up, so you can check that out there too. So I'm struggling. I'm stalling a little bit. I do think this race is wide open. This 5 is interesting. If you sort here on the GSR tab and you look here, this 5 horse has won 4 races and 16 tries, going 8.5 furlongs on the dirt. And it likes, look at, in 16 tries, almost half its starts, it's earned half of its money, $220,000. So it likes 8.5 furlongs. It does like this. I mean, it's certainly a contender. And anytime it gets the lead, it's tough. You know
I'm
what?
baiting you. I'm baiting you to take Ain't the Beer Cold.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've got to do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just as with St. Joe Louis, if St. Joe Louis wins, I will owe you a smoothie because I think
Okay.
that horse has no chance, so it's never going to win. And if Ain't the Beer Cold wins, I will buy you a beer. So you have a
Fair enough.
smoothie with the other horse, a beer with this horse, and I'll make sure it's a cold beer. I'll make sure it's cold.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We've got. By the way, Belmont. We don't have Belmont number 2 anyway, so that doesn't matter. Okay. So we can move on now. Santa Anita race number 1, which is the 4th event. Santa Anita race number 1.
And I apologize. That's just my style. I don't mean to knock your horses.
I love it.
But,
you don't even apologize.
Yeah,
Come on.
Because I don't think right.
Yeah.
I was baiting you for that. I hope you take the fight because obviously we're in competition, right? And the NHC when we're against each other. I hope you took the 5. So.
Yeah, no, I'm thicker skinned than that. I love it. I first of all, I'm like classic trash talker. I think there's trash talking and then people go too far. I love the trash talk, but no, I root for my friends always.
Right.
But we still have to talk trash. I mean, that's what we do.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Laurel race number 4. So there's 2 more events left. So where do you stand in the NHC or in the feeder right now, David?
Let's see. I catapulted on one of my entries that I had the Bulldog 23rd. So I'm 23rd with the Bulldog. The Bulldog got me a nice price there. So with the Bulldog, $10.20 for place. So I'm in 23rd and top 28. So right now, if it ended, I'd be getting a $18 into the qualifier. My second entry, I've got 60th. So with this entry, the entry in 23rd, I need the 5 coming up. Margie's Fun Son. I have Margie's Fun Son on both tickets. So, all right. So first race at Santa Anita, we got the simulator going.
This one's an easy one for me. I can tell you right now. And the reason is this is a horse that we actually made one of our free squares. And that's the one horse, Grazing in the Sun. So no brainer for me.
Okay, is that your final answer?
Oh yeah, I'm on both my entries. I'm using the 1.
Okay, that's your final answer. All right, the one thing I wanted to check because I had some questions on this race, so I'll do the exercise in front of all of you. I want to see what the Grazing in the Sun looks very logical to me. What is the trainer off the claim?
Tom Bell.
All right,
is,
so
he's 30%.
11%.
Or 11%. No, he's. I don't know why we're not showing that here. We should be showing that.
Oh, it doesn't say off the claim. It just says win percentage.
It's not showing off the claim right now. We're actually having some bugs on the site right now. Brad's on it right now, so it's not showing up. But
oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But the one horse Tom Bell's fine. Tom Bell's been doing it a long time. He's
I'm sure.
A really good trainer, and I just thought that the one horse is going to be really tough to catch. Gate to Wire has a significant pace advantage. Look at this, from 73 down to the 4 horse who's 45, and then the 6 horse is not the best breaker in the world. And just look at the second place finishes. So I thought the 1 made a lot of sense going Gate to Wire.
Okay, that makes sense too, because the one thing everybody knows mostly everybody knows I'm an East Coast guy, right? An hour guy. So the first time I went to Santa Anita after the NHC win, I got the VIP invitation. It was great. Tom Quigley and Nate Newby, the guys.
Yeah.
I got out to Santa Anita and I started learning more. Since I was getting a free trip, I decided I better start brushing up on Santa Anita because I had to do a guest handicapping show. And when no horse player ever wants to embarrass themselves, right? So you want to be prepared. So I learned a couple things about Santa Anita, and the 6.5 down the hill turf course. Everybody I talk to says you want somebody who wins at 6.5. Once horses win down the hill, they repeat so often. So I don't want a horse.
David, this
is not down the hill.
This is not down the hill. No, you'll know if it's down the hill because we show it down the hill where we have it starting like this and coming across the dirt. So this is not down the hill.
Okay, so well, just remember for down the hill races to apply that strategy.
Yeah.
So since this is not down the hill, I will say that the one has won at the distance over the turf course, 6.5 furlongs, and looks like the logical inside lone speed. But I decided to go a different direction here, and I'm trying to get a price. And the horse that there's a number of contenders here, but the horse I'm trying to get home is the 5 Raising Silver. Now, yes, the horse just broke its maiden. Don't bet a horse first time breaking its maiden coming into an allowance race. However, I will use a horse breaking its maiden on one surface and then going into an allowance race on another surface that they haven't tried before, because that's where I get a price.
Yeah,
okay?
It is where you get your prices, no doubt.
Now, this horse is not going to be bet. I probably will get 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1 all day long, I would think. This horse has been working fantastic, in my opinion. The 2 last works at 47-1, 47-4, working well. I should probably call Bruno before the race, but Nyquist can run on turf. This, to me, based on what I've seen in this field, you don't have to be any barn burner first time on turf to compete here. So I'm. With that being said, I'm looking for an outsider, so I'm using the 5 Raising Silver over the 1 Grazing in the Sun.
All right.
5-1.
David 5-1 and Scotty 1. All right. Okay. I think we can move on. That's pretty easy. Okay. Belmont race number 7 is the 5th event. Belmont race number 7. Okay.
At the big A.
Yep, they're going 6 furlongs. I'm going to sort from the outside post, and then I'll be right back. I'm just going to get a glass of water.
Okay. It made sense. The simulator has the 9. He has it all getting a clear lead, the way I pictured it. And I think I like this horse going wire to wire also. All right, so the simulator has the 9 wiring this field, which is quite logical because that's the way I saw it. And I think if I am looking at my notes correctly, off that last race in a bullet workout on June 7th, that this horse, even though it's this horse will be the favorite, it's morning line favorite, will be the favorite at post time, most likely, that this horse has so much in its own way that it's tough not to use. So, Scotty, I was just talking about
going gate to wire.
Yeah, and again, I'm known for looking for value, right? But sometimes when something sticks out this clearly to me, I'm going to look for an alternative. But this is this horse, the 9, looks quite solid.
And look at
Katie Davis.
Katie Davis, we had her on last week. Did you see the interview?
Yeah, I was on the. It was a great. She is so infectious with her enthusiasm. It's just unbelievable. I mean, how could you, if you were hanging out with her at the track or watching races, you would just have a good time because she's so, it's like enthusiastic. It's great to see. So now I'm a big Katie Davis fan. So I'm going to use the 9 here, wire to wire. But again, I do looking for a price on the back end as a backup ticket. There should be some other speed up front. I mean, the 1 is the 1 still in, the 2's out. The 1 has puts blinkers on. First time gelding might show a little more speed, so there may be a little more of a pace. I'm not sure, but I'd like to see the 4 get into the number here. This horse hasn't run. This horse is off a layoff August 12th of last year. I like the workout on June 5th. Now, Charlie Baker's barn's been a little icy. However, I think this horse has some future. It's always dreaming. LASIK's first time too. So there's some things I like about this horse. So I'm going to use, Scotty, the 9 my top pick with over the 4, and try to get the Davis family exacta in play. So it's all Katie Davis and Dylan Davis, and I'm boxing the exacta for my real play. So just so you know, I'm on the Davis people today.
Okay, so 9-4 in the race. I'm a little concerned that the 9 horse is 6-1 on the E morning line. So I like to sort it and just take a look at the horses like the 10, the 5, the 2, and the 6. I look at the 2 horse. It definitely looks like a horse that probably is going to run best on the lead, especially from that inside draw. But it does jump up to 25%. But look, it was 43%, had an easy lead here and lost. And so I think maybe trying to beat this horse, especially considering how much speed the 9 has. I think that the 2 is going to try to go, but the 9 is just too fast. So then we look at the 6 horse, second race for Richard Dutrow. And Irad jumps aboard this horse. That's a big upgrade. And I look at the treble line, off a bit slow and tossed head. So, and then rushed up, and then the jockey let off. If you look at the GSR Plus grid, I mean, none of these horses really, these are state breds. I mean, that it doesn't look that great. You can see the GSRs aren't that great for the state breds. But at these state bred sales in New York, you buy these horses and there's one coming up. Yeah, I mean, you can still get some of these state breds and make a lot of money running in New York.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because with the state breds, you also get that bonus for winning an open company, right? And
Yep.
the purses have gone up. It's so advantageous to own a New York bred. But yeah, I thought the 6 was sneaky. You got Gomez off. You've got Irad picking up the mount. First time gelding, first time Lasix. You got first time Irad. Yeah, I mean, an obvious contender.
It looks like a lot of the main contenders, the 6, the 2, the 5, they seem to need to be like, look at, here's the 5. Looks to me like the horse needs to be forwardly placed. Same thing here, and burned a lot of money. And even with this horse, this one's a harder read because it's only ran one time. This is a very interesting horse for Dutrow, though, like we talked about. It could improve. It 9 of 62 here for this work. I'm inclined to look at the 6 horse a little bit closer, but I'm starting to agree with you on the 9 a little bit, and that is because when horses, there's an old saying that speed kills speed. So if you're the fastest, the speed of the speed, if you will, then those horses aren't going to close. So now I really want to look at some of the horses that maybe are first time starters. What do we make of this 10 horse here for Belmont?
Yeah, I think, Belmont doesn't have a reputation of winning first time out. However, with the right horse, he can win first time out. But I think this horse, based on the slow works, this horse has ability, but I think I'd like to see a race or two. I think that's the plan for this horse.
I don't know that these works are that slow. Like, if you look at this work back on April 27th, it was 56 of 169. And how about this May 31st work, 27 of 152? I'm just saying, like, it's not exactly bad. And why not take the fresh face, maybe? I mean, that, and not only that, like, Belmont has usually got some nice horses, and these aren't all that great. They just really aren't. And maybe the fresh face is the way to go. I might go that way. I really might go that way. I might take the 10 horse.
I see your point, but I have a mental block with taking now I know this might sound crazy, but some of the podcasts of respected horse players I've heard, that they sound a little crazy at times too. I won't take Belmont. You ready for this? I won't take Belmont first time starter on a New York bred.
That's interesting. Well, I'll tell you one thing
I don't
that
think
I
I've ever
don't like
seen him
about
win.
the horse. The one thing I will say is these Uncle Mo's, they take a long time to develop. Not all of them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but many of the Uncle Mo's take a while. I have an Uncle Mo, and it's taken a long time. So I understand that. So maybe a horse like this Royal Brown with Dutrow and Irad Ortiz, maybe that's a way to go.
Yeah, I think push comes to shove with me, Scotty. I would take the 6 over the 10 because of the horses had a start, and you get our Irad now, but watch for Concord Spirit stretching out to a mile in the next couple of races, probably down the line. Watch for Concord Spirit at Saratoga. That's where I think that horse is probably going to break its maiden.
Right. What about Rosario and Englehart? They're in 8 tries. They're 50%, and Rosario jumps aboard. This horse drew the inside post last time out, going 7/8, showed some speed, but this horse just looks like a horse that wants to be near the lead, and there's so much speed in here. Again, the 9 has the most of the speed. The more I'm looking at this, if you're looking for a price horse, what's wrong with this horse? The 7 horse could set a really nice trip. It does drop in win percentage, but the race looks wide open on paper. But this horse, didn't run that bad of a race the last couple of times and had the rail last time out. Now draws outside. I wonder, are they keeping the blinkers on? Yeah, they're making no changes. His horse is the EquinEdge second pick. Maybe this is the horse.
Yeah, I have to tell you, if I was looking for another pick, I would definitely use the 7 over the 5 over the Chris Engelhard over the Maya Engelhard horse, because the 5 has been in a maiden 30 claimer twice before it was claimed.
Right.
And so the maiden special weight that Toby was in last time may be over that horse's head, where Clancy Fancy has exclusively raced in maiden special New York bred and hasn't dumped into a claimer yet. So that's why at 12-1 morning, I don't think you're going to get 12-1 anywhere near it, but that horse is sneaky. I definitely agree with you.
Well, it is, because look, in the first race off of the layoff, lunged at the start and still got third in that race. And then in this race was 5 wide and from the rail was getting pressed and still only lost by 2 lengths on a muddy track. Not easy to do. I think this 7 horse makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and also you've got another angle. The 2 races since the layoff have both been on off tracks. So now you're switching to a dry track. So, and on a dry track at 7 furlongs over this course, this horse showed speed. Was fractious, supposedly has some issues at the beginning of the race. But if this horse is now a 4-year-old and can handle it a fast track better than an off track, this horse is definitely sneaky. Definitely sneaky horse.
So let me give you another thing to look at, and that is when you're talking about, if you're an owner or you're a trainer, you want the best jockeys for your horses, right? And so when you look at that, who are the best jockeys there? Irad certainly, right? Rosario probably 16%. Liscano, Alvarado always writes for Belmont, but like, do you do that sometimes? Just look and go, the winner's got to be somewhere up here in the top 4 of the jockeys, or maybe even the top 4 of the jockey trainer combination?
Yeah, sometimes I'll approach it that way. But I have it already in my mind what style these jockeys have. Like if I look at Rosario, I know he's probably better coming off the pace, and what jockeys are better on the lead. But all I need to know here is I like Katie Davis on a lead. And so I think that kind of swayed that she's just going to, and she knows how this horse runs. She's going to gun. And I think this horse will have enough to hold on.
I'm looking right now.
And right now, if you want to look at the leading riders, as of now at this meet, Katie Davis is 19%, which would fall, I think, into percentage-wise second or third. So she's running well.
By the way, too, there's a race coming up. So we showed this on yesterday's show, the weekend preview show, and I appreciate you telling me that, Kevin, as well. Let's look at it real quickly. We gave out this horse, this 8 horse.
Churchill.
At Churchill Downs. It's a first-time starter for Steve Asmussen. And the horse has been training tremendous. Like, look at 25 of 111. 4 gate drills have been tremendous. You can see this one, 2 of 101. It's the top pace number. I think this horse is gone. And the 10 had a lot of speed, and the 10's been scratched, which just helps this horse that much more. I think the 10's gone. What kind of odds are you getting right now? 5-2 right now on this horse. The other horse getting bet is the 1 horse at 7-5 and the 6 horse. I'm not surprised about that, but the 1 is another first-time starter, draws the rail for Brad Cox. I think the 8 horse is great. Yeah. Yeah, I think hopefully we're going to get our first win. And then there's, Santa Anita race number 1, the 1, we talked about that. Woodbine race number 6, the 9. Anyways, David, that show was really a lot of fun last night with me and Oldie. We're going to rotate between the talent. You'll do that show, I'm sure. But that was a lot of fun. And the reason it was so great, and I feel like we're going to have some success, is because the team is just getting together going, okay, do we all agree? And if we don't agree, then it's not a horse that we're going to give out. So I think it's gonna do really, really well, and I'm looking forward to it. And it was only an hour and 15 minutes long show too, which was great.
Right, and it moved quickly. I was on in the background listening while I could, and so it's like a unanimous decision, right? So it's like a trial. If we're not on the same page, we can acquit or convict. So if we all have to agree.
We all have to agree, exactly. Okay. And so I think for a test run, it ended up being really, really good. But hopefully we can get lucky and this 8 gets the lead early. But there are a lot of things pointing towards this 8. And let's see here. Okay. So that's not coming up for 15 minutes. Love to listen to it as well. But
Laurel 4th race, Scotty.
Is that coming up?
Yeah, less than a minute to post.
Less than a minute. Okay, let's do that. Let's go to Laurel 4. All right, so you've got the 5 horse. You need this 5 horse because you're right there. I had the 3 horse. I didn't love the 3 horse, so. I'm rooting for you. Margot's Fun Son. Remind us again why you like this 4-year-old gelding.
4-year-old Keen Ice. He's one of the horses who I think won't have an issue with the distance, the 1.1 miles, off the claim. And it worked for me in the past with Lacey Godet stretching out a horse to 1.1 miles off a claim. So I think that's a move here that can work for me.
All right. You said you kind of use this angle in the NHC with Lacey Godet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
However, I recall the horse that won, I think it was a $12 horse, had the inside post, which I loved because it saved all the ground and made the right trip. So that could have been a factor too. So.
All right, here we go.
Right, good luck, everybody.
And they're off.
Broke good out of the gate.
Start for Armed and Ready. Finger roll set up there too. Here's Margie's Fun Son allowed to settle, and Minx is Lucky Starfires on the outside now in the 3rd position. In the meantime, Margie's Fun Son is in between horses, just 3 from the front. A little tight there, getting a bit rank. Money Room rides that rail and moves to 3rd into the first turn run. Around the turn, it's Armed and Ready.
We knew the 1 was going to get the lead. I mean, that's what the simulator showed. Yeah. That's what the
Finger roll and Money Room up close there in 3rd position.
Hopefully get a good enough pace.
Margie's Fun Son trailing the field, but only 4 lengths will cover top to bottom. Armed and Ready from Finger Roll. Armed and Ready at a controlled clip. Money Room is 3rd on the inside now, and Margie's Fun Son trying to work forward to the back of the pack.
The jockey got a little impatient on the 5 horse early on, and I think the horse can feel stuff like that too. I'm not saying the 5's not going to win from here, but the jockey should stay, patient because that gives the horse confidence.
By a length, and Money Room is 3rd.
I don't like when they get impatient. I mean, he's been behind horses this entire time.
much change
and
into the far
he's
turn,
not
a half
really been
mile
all
from
that
home.
patient.
Armed and ready from Finger Roll by 3/4 of a
Come on,
length.
Five.
Makes his Lucky Starfire.
Six is
Bids
rolling
up
on the
well 3
outside.
wide. In behind them is Money Room
Yeah.
racing in fourth. And Margie's Fun Sun last now with 3 furlongs left to go. Here's Minx's Lucky Starfire sent along on the outside to grab the lead. Finger Roll fully ridden in second. Armed and Ready's backed off a bit in third. Now Money Room has come off the inside, is threatening to Money Room. Charging into second on the outside. And Margie's Fun Sun, they turn for home. Wide open affair. Minx's Lucky
So
Starfire
the
desperate to
Five's
hang
coming
on
back.
to lead from
Come
Money
on,
Room.
Five.
Money Room there on the
That's my
outside.
3.
And Minx's
Come on,
Lucky
Five.
Starfire.
Get up.
Margie's Fun Sun steered
Get up.
deep to the center of the track. Is
I
third, a
didn't see
furlong
this.
left
Come
to
on,
go.
Five. Get up.
Money Room, Minx's Lucky
One time.
Starfire, and Margie's Fun Sun on the
Come on.
outside.
Get up.
Money Room
David, one
with Margie's
time.
Fun Sun. One more try
Get
on the
up.
outside to try to get by. Money
Oh,
Room.
David, that's our exacta.
Money Room,
though.
Margie's Fun Sun, Minx's Lucky
That's our exacta.
Starfire.
What did I tell you? The two older horses, the 3 and the 5, right?
Talking about the
Those are the two older horses. They're both keen ice who would probably like the 1.125 better than any of these other horses. But I did not have the exacta.
No, but you did not have a good trip. Honestly, you did not have a good trip. The 3 horse. I liked this horse. Remember, I liked this.
It was an interesting trip.
They were double jumping this horse off the claim. Remember, that's why I liked this horse. I really thought, and then this horse, it's had a perfect trip.
Right, and it shows you too. Now they're the 2 older horses in a race and the 2 keen ices. If you look at the breeding on some of the other horses, I mean, I didn't think the 4 is a Gervin. It was, to me, that's Gervin's usually not a 1.125 horse. But again, the horses can outrun their pedigree at times. But so there's definitely a logical result.
Yeah.
So we had a 1 for 17 beat out a 1 for 13. So.
Well,
but again, it shows you the weak race.
Kind of race it was. That's the kind of race it was as well. So that's just what it is. I mean, one of them has to win. All right, Churchill Downs. Again, we did the weekend preview show yesterday, and one of the horses we gave out was the 8 horse over at Churchill Downs, first time starter that looks pretty good. That's coming up. Hold on here in 7 minutes from now. Currently, the horse is 2-1 off a 6-1 morning line.
And the 3rd at Belmont is off. Aqueduct is off. I have the 13.
Okay, let's see here. So let me turn this up. You have the 13?
Yeah, who's actually stalking in 2nd right now, off a pretty moderate pace, with the 10 closing and the 4 right there.
All right, so I had the 1 horse Karoo. You had the
10-13. 10-13. I need a 13 on this ticket to have any chance to the. This Bond horse may wire this field.
There comes my 1, but I think the 6 horse at 15-1. That's gonna do a lot of damage to.
Yep, James Bond. Yeah. I should have known better. He's loaded for Saratoga, and I figured this horse. Yeah, yep. See, now it's really not great when you have a regret because I wanted horse.
Yeah.
And I just let it beat me. Okay,
that's
racing.
That's such a tough one, though. I mean, this horse is broke terrible in its first 2 starts. This is the 2nd race off the layoff. Yeah, I mean, it stumbled badly. It had issues in the first 2 starts and still ran. This is where you really have to take a close look at each of the horses. And especially if you're playing for big money or you're playing and there's a big pool, you really have to do that. Jonathan, you had that horse. Nice going. Great handicapping. Yeah. This horse, there is nothing wrong with this horse, honestly. Nothing wrong with this horse. Yeah.
The summer front, it's Bond. I mean, this time of year they heat up. Again, the first 2 races, usually Bond to go mile and a 16th, they're not going to win first time out. So. So off the layoff, you needed that race. Stumbled start tells you everything. I just didn't think that this horse would have any speed, right? I mean, that was the question. So it looks like when I tuned in, this horse had the lead. This horse go wire to wire. That would surprise me. And Yeah, I took this race. I circled like 5 or 6 different horses. So we had 6, 3, 11. Not one of the favorites were there.
All right, so
This
the
was a
feeders,
wide open race.
the feeder's done. All right, so
The
now
feeder's
we've
done.
got the BAQ 7 that we
Yep.
need to handicap. I think we already had started this one. You're going with Katie on this one, the 9 horse to go gate to
Yes,
wire.
9 over the 4, correct. Yeah.
Was that a pick on the show? Belmont 6? No, that's for Saturday.
I was going to say, if you guys pick that, and yeah,
that was for Saturday.
and again,
Dave, if you made that mistake and you got that, Jonathan's like, great call on that 6. I was like, yeah, I had that thing. No, we gave this the race 3 at BAQ tomorrow. Oh, that is awesome. That is so good. No, unfortunately, that was not what we had given out. We gave out 3 horses for today. Churchill Downs race 4, this 8 horse coming up. That is awesome. That is so phenomenal. Woodbine race 6, the 9 horse, and then Santa Anita race 7, the 6 horse. That's what was today. That's awesome. That's so cool. I'm worried that did we say it wrong on the show? Like, I don't know. That's incredible, though.
well, hey, listen, if anybody took it as a mistake and it's cash, congratulations.
That's amazing.
Whatever works for you.
No, that's tremendous. Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, Churchill Downs in 3 minutes. I mean, we definitely right now the 8 horse is 9-5. I don't like that. I don't like it's getting bet so much, but okay, let's finish this race though. Okay, David, you're for sure going with Katie.
Yeah, Katie, the 9, Katie Davis wire to wire over Dylan Davis closing 9-4 for me.
9-4. The 7 horse Clancy Fancy is interesting too. Well, I know we talked about that.
I agree. That horse is sneaky. If you keep, you may get me to change my mind here and take a 12-1 morning over a 2-1. Because I think this horse has a shot.
Let me see.
2/3 the last 2 races, blinkers on, second time blinkers. Now moves to a fast track.
Oh, you want some even better news?
Sure.
So I have an email that I get that I've been, testing out for about a year now. It's pretty darn good. It's a horses to watch, but it's an email. It's a completely different algorithm that looks for price horses, and it gave out this horse.
Which horse? He has it all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a good algorithm.
Well, look at it this way. I'm going to use the 7 in any horizontals I decide to play later in the day.
Yeah.
Probably use 4, 7, 9 in that race.
I mean, the 9, the system has the 9 going gate to wire. It certainly can go gate to wire. Last week when Katie was on the show, I was texting you guys going, tell Katie that her horse on Sunday can go gate to wire. Do you remember that?
Yes, and that horse got a sloppy track and went gate to wire.
Gate to wire.
At a nice price, I think 9-2.
Yes, and we told her, we said,
yeah,
Katie, you can get the lead, because I think we gave her an account, in fact. But I said, this pace number, I didn't say that, but I told the guys were telling her, like, Katie, you can get the lead here. Go, and we're showing you winning the race by 4 lengths. It was incredible. And she got the lead and won by like 4 lengths. It was really incredible.
Right. And Justin's the one who went over that with he kept focusing on that Sunday race. So I'm like, I remember when I was watching, I'm like, and plus sloppy track and speed favoring track. And like, oh, this is perfect.
Eric, you didn't do anything wrong here. There was a couple of big prices. Absolutely. I promise you, this happens to all of us. So you're good, brother. You are good. Don't even sweat it.
Hey, listen, I play bond horses all the time. I didn't have this horse And there was another long shot earlier that I wouldn't have played in that that closer in that first race. Yeah. So hey, listen, I've finished 123rd quite often in these tournaments. So let's shake it off and move on for $18.
Okay, so we're just gonna go, since this is what we gave out. This is the first horse that's gonna run on our new show, the weekend preview show. We have the 8 horse. Let's watch this, or not watch, but listen to it. I'll turn it up, and let's see if this horse has the top pace.
That's the 8 horse, correct?
That's the 8. Who's on
Yeah,
the
I'm
lead.
watching here. 8-5. Moving nicely. You got the 1 horse, this Stone Street. Looks like a Stone Street horse, right? It looks like it's going to be 8-1 to the wire. No, the 8 still. There you go.
That's how we do it. That's the way to start off the show. 8-6.
There you go.
8th winner. There we go. That horse was 6-1 on the morning line. Boom. For fun.
There you go.
Woo!
There you go. Got to watch that Thursday show.
You got to watch that Thursday show. That's the way we want to start off the show. Oh, I'm stoked about that. That was great. That felt
Nice
so
pick.
good. Yeah. That felt so good. All right. I might have had a little play on that too, David.
I'm sure that you did. If it was a morning line 6-1 and 8-5, that might have been most of you. That must have been. Did you capitalize on that pool there, that win pool?
Yeah, and I also capitalized on that 6 horse getting second.
All right, let's see. Hold on a second.
Even use the one. I didn't even use the one last night when we talked about it. I did not like the one at all, and I'm like,
so,
this 8 is the real deal.
Yeah, so there was $45,469 in that win pool on that 8 horse. I'm wondering, you probably had at least. I'm thinking at least 50% of that was all Scotty. But we don't.
No, that's great. That's a great way to break up the show. That was just really neat.
Right.
It was really neat, the process of how we picked the horses. This was a horse I found, and then Oldie didn't like it. And then it went to vote. And then Chris said, no, I like Scotty's play. Now, this week, we've got you going to get involved. We've got Brad going to get involved. We've got, there's like 7 or 8 of us are going to get involved in picking these horses. And it has to be not a consensus, but it's got to be, it's got to be high.
Right,
so
gotcha.
And so that's why we think the
congrats.
winners, it's going to be really good. I think we're going to have a lot of winners. You can see I'm amped about that, because this was an idea that we had, a couple of months ago, and to see that come to fruition and the very first one win is just awesome. So
excellent job. Hey, it never hurts to win first time like that on with your new show. But I'm hoping you guys picked my favorite filly tomorrow at Aqueduct.
Who do we have? Who is
in the Bed of Roses? Without a trace. The last 2 races, Phil Serpy helped me out in Vegas, and also a couple of weeks ago at $19, $19. I'm actually making a profit just on that horse alone. So yeah, leave no trace. And this horse is she's in really good form. It's a horse I like again tomorrow. It's a loyalty thing now.
Hi, Karina.
Hey, Karina.
Part of the EE family for a long, long time.
Name sounds familiar.
We have to wait 2 hours before the next one from the show, huh? We got race 6 over at Woodbine. That's the 9 horse, and then race 7 at Santa Anita. So, yeah. And then we've got 4 horses tomorrow. And then, we got more than that. We have 4 or 5. Let's see here. 3. Yeah, 4 horses tomorrow. No, that's a great way to start. Super pumped up about that. All right. Let's finish off. We've got race number 7 at Belmont that we need to do. Get those Miller Lights going, Jeff. Let's see here. Let's run this race. I feel like we've done this race 5 times. You already know who you want. I think I'm going to go and I told you this is also a horse to watch. The 9 horse is on. Like I said, I get emails every day, and while you guys are looking at this, I'm actually looking to see. And yeah, it's the 9. He Has It All is also a horse to watch. So, I mean, again, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, I think the horse is going to go off. I think you're going to get 3-1 or 4-1 on this horse, actually, because you've got Irad on the 6. The 2 horse is going to take some play. The 5 horse is going to take some play. But the 9's just faster than all these horses, and has that great post as well. And the 7 might not get the best trip. I'm going to do. You know what? I'm going to do 1 with the 7 and then 1 with the 9. That's what I'm going to do.
Right, and 2 also, and I hate this horse is probably, to me, I think, Scotty, this horse is going to be the favorite. But so I'm a little reluctant. With me, I'm always looking for value. But the one also thing with this horse is trained by Ray Handel.
Yeah.
And Ray Handel's my man. I mean, he is streaky as anything. And right now they're on a really good roll. And so that just solidifies my opinion that but again, the more that you talk about it, the 7 Clancy Fancy to me is a sneaky horse. I'm tempted to, because the price differential is going to be pretty huge between those two horses.
But I want to show you what you look for when you're looking for a horse that you think is going to improve, and then you see the simulation run like that. If you look at this, first thing I want you to look at is the SOR on the past performance line last time out, going 6.5. It was a 54. Today's a 50 up top, which means that it's an easier group than what this horse faced last time, and the horse had the lead. Then it was 10% to win. So it wasn't even meant to run this well last time out, and today it's 24%. And
it really improved last time out. At 50, that's the reason why the horse is 15-1, because the horse kept stopping. However, 7 furlongs in a mile. And I wanted to point out one more thing that I just noticed. In Open Company on March 9th, who did this horse lose to? Society Man.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who won the Matt Win on at Churchill Downs, going 2 turns? And Society Man at $14 horse, and yours truly had a nice. I love Society Man down there, and Society Man also ran 2nd in the Wood. So comes out of a classy race, and I think Ray probably figured that this horse is a sprinter. So 6.5, much improved race.
Anybody, if you're listening, we need to tweet out to Katie and tell Katie that at Belmont Park today, her 9 horse on EquinEdge's race simulator has her going gate to wire, that she needs to send and get the lead. She will take that seriously. We should do that. Somebody should do that. Tag EquinEdge, and I will resend it.
Get outside posts, just stalk, and make sure you get that lead. And if someone who wants to lead, you can
stalking. Grab the lead. No
stalking. Okay, no stalking.
No. You send this horse. You're gonna get the lead when you send, and you're gonna go gate to wire, and that will help our cause, because she did the same thing. We told her on Sunday's horse, and she went gate to wire, and it reminds me of the same thing right here. She needs to send this horse and go, and she will go gate to wire. That's right.
All right. Now, again, you know me with my concerns about track biases. The only thing that concerns me is the first race was won by a dead stone closer. So I'm going to watch the 4th race pretty intently. It's a 6.5 furlong race on the dirt. And if that race is won by a dead stone closer, I may have a little reservation, and then put the 7 in on one of my tickets. So, but I'm all over the 9. I think if I was playing horizontals, my first impression would be the 9 would be a single on pick 4s and pick 5s.
Yeah. If we can get the word out to Katie, that would be so awesome. That would be fun too on Twitter to do that and go, come on, Katie, you got this. Okay. So somebody take the challenge up, and I will resend it. And we all should resend it. Let's get this thing trending.
Okay.
Let's do that.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, then we know. And if she responds, then I'm definitely keen the 9 on both. But why not? Listen, The 7 horse is the EquinEdge second pick. Holy hell, it's 12-1 on the morning line. I think, just in case one of these first times, there's some fast horses in here. Just in case Katie doesn't get the lead, there could be a speed duel, and the 7 could pick them up.
Right.
Of course.
Right. But in either case, I think I would do the 9 over 4-7. Try to get a couple of prices in there.
Yeah, we got that, Chris. We got that 8 horse there. Yep, we got that thing. So that was pretty phenomenal. Won easily. We never had to sweat. Never had to sweat. So yours truly had the exacta as well. Hold on. Let me see what this thing paid. Not really that great. I mean, it's okay. What did I get? Yeah, I got like 7-1 on my money almost, something like that. So yeah, okay. a little bit more. So that's okay though. That was free money. I can tell you, I'm very happy with the results of that. Listen, we talked about keying that horse, and some people singled that horse and keyed that horse in their horizontals as well, Chris. So that was a really good thing. So man, fantastic. That's a great way to start. Yeah, I think we're going to hit at a really high rate, David, on these horses at the show.
Yep, so far off to a good start, and with this brain power of ours having to agree on horses, so
that's not easy.
I think it's probably it's not.
I'm glad I wasn't.
I can picture.
Me and Oldie don't agree on anything. We do. He didn't like this. He didn't like that horse. Luckily, Chris saved the day.
Hooked him into it. Yeah, I can just picture a whole staff in a boardroom with a long table, and working into after midnight, not being able to agree, and having pizza cartons all over the place, and strewn out beers, and like, we can't come to a conclusion tonight. Yeah. But yeah, I can just picture it. Too bad we can't do it in person.
No, it's a great way to start. Yeah, so super pumped about that. I just think the EquinEdge community right now just has some wonderful energy. And yeah, we've got a lot of good stuff going on right now as well too. So I can tell you the technology we're developing right now, it's gonna keep the community super pumped. So all right, you're going 9-4, David. I'm going 9-7. So I'm playing 2 entries, of course, like I always do, and I'm gonna use the 7 on one and the 9 on the other in the 7th race at Belmont. Let's get out to the 9th race at Laurel Park. How much time do we have, by the way? Do we have to have everything in?
2:26, I think 3:05. So I've got to make sure I get mine in too.
Okay, so we got to have it all.
Let's go through this race, Scotty. Yeah. If we go through this race, and then I'm just going to grab some water and then put my pick in for the qualifier, and then we'll go on.
Go ahead and do that. I'll run this race. Did you have an opinion on this race?
Now, okay, let me just pull up my notes for Laurel, so that way this was the 9th race. Oh, okay. I got it. All right, good. This is going to be an interesting race for me, this 9th race coming up. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, so I thought he was going to give us our pick, and he just bailed on us. So the 6 horse Dancing Mischief got a 2nd place finish against a 46 group. First off the layoff, Kieran McGee's 20% first off the layoff. Second off the layoff, Kieran's 29%. Horse ran good against 11 other horses as well. Got a 2nd place finish. The horse is tactical. Certainly a horse that deserves a long look. They're going 9 furlongs, 31% to win, 9-5 on the odds makers morning line. Jockey trainer combination is 29%. Any changes? No changes in the race, really. Blinkers are off on the 11 horse. The simulated race has the 6 horse winning as well. Let's take a look at the 2 horse, because the 2 horse is the EquinEdge second pick, and the simulator has the horse right there, and it's 8-1 on the morning line. Not a great breaker, which concerns me. Fouts is 3% first off the layoff, and Fout is 26% second off the layoff. That's super, super interesting. Not really a proven loser at this level. It's been 3 times. Forced, bumped out, altered course here. I just think generally this horse is a slow breaker. The 2, it doesn't have a lot of speed, but there's not really a lot of speed in the race. It's a very interesting long shot if you're looking to try to beat the 6 horse. I can't blame you for wanting to do that. You can see the one time this horse did win, and its only win breaking its maiden was against a 38 group. It did have a 59 GSR. Today is a 65, and it barely got up and won. And then it almost beat a 46 group. Look at this. This is not bad. This is actually encouraging, going 9 furlongs. It seems to really like 9 furlongs. This is a very interesting long shot. David, did you have any notes or any ideas on this 2-horse Dynamist?
No, Dynamist is not a horse that I was particularly fond of here. This is I'm going to be a wise guy in this race, because I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm looking for a horse as a huge price here, and I don't see any reason not to, because this looks like a race that you've got some in and outers here. It just strikes me as a race where I don't want Dancing Mischief at 9 to 5 morning line. I mean, the 2 has no speed whatsoever. I did look at the 1, and I had a little bit of interest in the 1, but again, I'd like to put a couple of long shots in over any online tournament I play. And this race seems to cry out for a long shot. As long as I have 1 or 2 angles, I'm good. So I'm good on this one. And the horse that I'm trying to make is number 10, Dr.
Okay.
Hyde. Okay. Now, you'd say this horse, last couple of races weren't that good. Well, 78 to 1 in the last race on a synthetic track. So you're getting a totally different surface here, back to the turf. And the only reason I really like this horse a little bit at 20 to 1 at that morning line price is the 2 races at Colonial Downs last summer. A maiden 25 going a distance, 2 turns at 2 to 1, ran 3rd. And then another maiden 25 at 19 to 1. This horse closed at 1 1/8 miles, and the time was 1:49.4. Granted, there may have been an aggressive pace, and this horse benefited by that pace tool. But if this horse can win over the distance, and from what I see, this is the only horse who's won at this distance.
Yeah.
Going this far at 1 1/8 miles. 1 1/8 miles, again, we saw it earlier in the dirt race at Laurel. I think it's more important you play horses who you're going to think who like the distance, and that happened in that dirt race. You'd have 2 horses that were bred and can handle the distance. So, Scotty, I'm trying to get a price here, so that's all I need is 1 angle. If that horse runs back to those Colonial Downs races, got a shot. I want a price, so I'm going 10, and for my second pick, I'm going with the 1 Sigmund. Second race off a layoff, hopefully can improve a little bit off that last race at Delaware.
Okay, so I don't like, aside from the 6. So if I throw out the 6 for a second, and the 6 shows winning by about 1.25 lengths over the 2, but if I throw that out for a second, there's some, and you don't want to get beat here by any of these horses. So, like, you might want to play defensively, because the 6 is going to be the favorite by far, and I might even go off at 3 to 5 or 4 to 5. And then when I look at that, I think all these horses deserve a look. What about the 8 horses? A price play, 5 to 1 on the morning line, and 20% to win. David, like, this horse deserves a look. It looks like it can rate a little bit. It does look a lot about like it was last time out. The GSR does go up a little bit. The 56, the win percentage goes up a little bit. It's facing a little bit easier. I will say that this is what you're looking for. I think it's the EquinEdge long shot. I think that's a fair thing. The 9 horse, nothing wrong really with this horse as well. This horse got 3rd last time out.
That was on. There was hurdles too. This horse, last 4 races were hurdles. However, has gone back and ran at Penn National a second at a distance.
You
It's got an
know,
outside shot.
it does. I don't usually. I've seen it happen a few times with the hurdlers come in and win these straights, but not. It's not something that happens a lot. I think this race is really tough, but because none of these horses really look all that great, I'm going to be really surprised with the increase in GSR, win percentage, and facing easier. And McGee is 29% second off the layoff. I think I would take a risk, especially with this tactical speed. I think I would take a risk, and I'm gonna key to 6. I'm gonna key to 6.
You can key into 6 in the contest. And
I'm
the
gonna key to 6.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take.
All right.
Take. Hopefully, I'll be lucky enough to just take the points. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep, and move on.
Yeah. All right. So next race we've got 4 more we have to cover. We don't have a lot of time, so we have to move quickly. Big shout out to Jerry, Karina. Thank you so much for sending that tweet out. I resent both of those as well. So hopefully Katie will get that, no doubt about it. And okay, Belmont, we have to look at race number 8. Okay, Belmont, this is your territory where we're counting on you, so don't let us down.
Well, Belmont race number 8, just bear with me a second. Yeah, my territory is more Belmont, Aqueduct on the dirt, but we'll go with it. But this race, I kind of have a solid opinion here, and I'm narrowing it down to 2 horses. And both of them coming back off second race off a layoff. And the first one I'll mention is Cannon Fire. This horse had raced last year at Saratoga in a couple of in open company. This is a New York State bred. This horse won at a mile at an open company, claiming 50 non-winners or 2, going a mile. Then kind of packed it in subsequent races in open company. Comes back off a layoff, showed speed, and after a slow start, and then packed it in to a bit. Was trained by Linda Rice, goes to Orlando Noda, and their barn is heating up a bit. I like the second time off the layoff. I think this horse has room for improvement, can stalk the pace. So that would be my top pick. And I also want another horse who's going to be closer to the pace, and that's the 10, Diamond Status. This horse, again, off of the layoff, comes back in a 50 claimer at 22-1, showed the lead, had the lead, packed it in, but that's a good tune-up race. So yeah, those are 2 logical horses, and the 7 has won over the course. So I'm going with the 7 on top of the 10 here, Scotty.
Okay. I think I hate to take chalk, but I just think this horse looks too good for them personally. I think this Silent Melody is a nice looking horse. The GSR is good. We talked about the GSR. You need a good GSR. You've got the 10 and the 7, which have good GSRs. The system shows a 6 horse winning for fun. The horse broke its maiden, barely got up. But what I like about it is there was 9 other horses. Horses don't usually run that, win, and the horse didn't win, but moved up 10 points in SOR. The win percentage actually went up and still ran good. Now, on paper, this race looks probably more wide open, and you can see the top win percentage is only, the 9 horse at 27%, but the GSR is dropping on that horse. And this goes to show you when people look and go, well, why, 27%, why do you go against it? Well, these are all separate algorithms. And so when you see something like this, I don't mind it. For me, it's like, okay, I agree, because you're not going to have one number that's going to tell the story. I always tell this, you need the breeding metric, you need the class metric, which is our SOR, you need the pace, you need the win, you need the morning line, you need it all. You need the long shot play. And so then you have to put it together. And when I look at this horse, I hate that this 9 horse is dropping from a 64 to a 49 in GSR. Like, I can't play that. I'm sorry. I just can't. So I can, for me and my style, I'm throwing that horse out. I look at the 3 horse. There seems to be some horses that have really burned some money, and this would be one of them for me. But I will say this: he's not really burned a ton of money at this level. And so, and he barely lost last time out. So it certainly deserves a look. The GSR goes up, second off the layoff. Rodriguez is 6% first off the layoff and 15% second off the layoff. So, I mean, like, there's probably a high likelihood that one of these, 5 horses is going to win the race. The 1, 3, 6, 7, or 10. That's probably a high likelihood. I'm going to get rid of. Oh, I want to throw a long shot in here for you guys. God, I don't want to put this horse in the winner's circle because I'm not using it. But this horse here on the turf ran a really good race, 8.5 furlongs here against the tougher at 1% with a GSR of 69 and won that race. But this just might be a situation where this horse isn't the same anymore. And but I wouldn't be surprised if this horse came up and ran a bigger race. Definitely moving up in GSR, and I like that. Has the highest GSR as well. So horses like that are scary. The similar race doesn't like the horse. I think I'm going to go with the 6 horse.
So it's 6 for you?
Yep. Yeah. Who are you going with?
On 6, I went 7-10 here.
7-10. So I'm going to go with the 6 and the 3 horse. 6-3 and 3-6. All right, Santa Anita race number 3. 3 more to go.
Santa Anita race number 3.
We only have about, 20 minutes to go?
Yeah, it's about. But if you want to run the simulator, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm just using 1 horse, but let me just pull up my notes. And there was a scratch. We got 2 scratches here. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to spend 2 and the 8. Okay. I mean, there's a couple of contenders here. Let's see what the...
You think that the 6 horse, the problem with the 6 is it's dropping in GSR. Look at it, faced a 52 group here at 21% and 55. Like, this is a money burner. I wouldn't. You couldn't pay me to use this horse in this race.
Okay, well, that's my top pick in this race. So you'll be paying me if you'll be chasing me.
No.
Yeah, I know. This horse has kept some back company. Ran the Best Pal, Capote, American Pharaoh, Grade 1, San Vincent. Then off a layoff, and then off another layoff. This horse seemed to have improved a little bit off the second race off the last layoff. And I'm just thinking that with a little further improvement, this horse dumps down from 32 down to 25 in the proper spot. That this horse has no excuse. I mean, if this horse is going to win, today's the day. And so I'm just using the 6. I don't look at anybody else here.
So the 1 horse, John Sheriffs and Kyle Frey are 0 for 10. The 5 horse, we can throw that out. 0 for 33 jockey trainer combination. So we'll get rid of that. Phoenician Ghost. This is a horse that seems to need to be forwardly placed. And I don't think this horse is fast enough. So part of the speed, but if you're trying to beat the 6 like I am, the 4 could, help that cause a little bit. The 3, Blame George. Here's another horse that races around the hook and has speed and really only has one way of going from what I can. No, it's rated before, but not really. Its best races are on the lead. So, for me, it just completely just sets up for the 7. Yeah. But this horse was 37% to win last time out. Jumps up in GSR. Bobbled. It bobbled last time out. It didn't break good. This horse doesn't exactly like to win that much either. It barely won while breaking its maiden 2 back, going 6 furlongs. I don't know what happened in the last race. The horse was meant to run good. It didn't run a lick. Maybe there's a sleeper in here.
I didn't see any sleeper that I was interested in, to be honest with you. Yeah, I had 6-7, so I just use
You
a
had
6. But if
6-7.
I had a backup, I'd use a 7. Yeah.
That's a tough one for me. I don't like what happened with this horse last time out. Like, you have to forgive, but I can't see really any excuses. You know, I will say this: what is interesting is that Phil D'Amato, after this poor effort last time out, does not drop the horse. But there's, I mean, maybe at, on the turf, there is no lower level. This is probably as low as it gets. So maybe, maybe that's just is what it is. You have to send it to a different circuit. Tell me again why you like this horse so much. I mean, it's burned some money. The GSR is dropping. What is it you like about this horse?
Yeah, Scotty, I think it's more the third race off a layoff, looking for a little improvement. So third race off layoff, dropping from a 32 beaten claimer to a 25 claimer. I know there's not a lot of difference there, where the 7 was in a 25 beaten claimer. So, and again, it's a short field. A lot of these, for contest purposes, I don't spend a lot of time on. I just pick the horse that I think is the most likeliest winner and move on.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
the
again,
more I start looking at these, the more I'm looking at this horse, even though it's dropping in GSR, there really is nothing. The GSRs aren't that great in this race to begin with. So maybe even though it's dropping so much in GSR, that's not so bad. It is facing easier. In its first race, it didn't really run all that great. It had the lead, needed the race. It did improve next time out. But the GSR also went up, right? So there's some conflicting, it's dropping in GSR 14 points, which is a lot, but it's going up in win percentage to 56%, and it's also facing easier. It draws an outside post, and these are not that good.
No.
Yeah. What about a horse like the 4? Can you tell me something positive about this 4?
Well, as far as trainer stats, 0 for 4. This horse is 1 for 13 lifetime. Was racing for $10,000 claimers, and that's what turf. What's TUP? That's
Turf Paradise.
Yeah, Turf Paradise. Yeah. So I don't want a horse coming out of Turf Paradise for 10,000 claimer now racing against 25,000 beaten claimers at Santa Anita. So this horse would be a thrower from Turf Paradise.
Katie Davis, look at this, you guys. Katie
All
Davis
right.
liked the tweet. That is awesome. Look at that. See? Look at that. Okay, I'm changing officially now. I am changing my play. I am changing my play. Hold on here. Let's Belmont race number, what was that, 7? Yeah. Katie Davis. He has it all. That's also the horse to watch. Remember, that was a horse to watch. Okay, Katie Davis, gate to wire. Just like the simulator says. Love it.
Now, the only reservation I would have on that, and I do have the 9 on top, is I watched the 4th.
Buzzkill. Why?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm trying to be the voice of reason here.
No, there's no reason.
I'm using the 9, but I always, these track biases sometimes get into my mind. The only 2 dirt races today at Aqueduct have been run both by closers. So with that in mind, I'm still sticking with.
All right. Well, you know what? Even though this is an Irish bred, Pinehurst, the U.S. Open going on right now, hunch play. I'm with you. I got it. I'm going with the 7.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going with the 7.
Okay, that'll catapult me a little bit above you. So
you're just not
go
nice.
for it. I'm baiting you today. Yeah, use that 7 as a hunch play. You should have one hunch play every contest. That's the way I look at it.
Why are you so competitive? It's just terrible.
I'm only busting you.
BAQ
just trying to have some fun.
All right, BAQ. He can't carry that meanness because he's just too nice of a guy. You see that? Look at that. You give him a guilt trip, and he backs off immediately.
I back off right away. Yeah.
Okay, okay. We got 8.5 furlongs here at Belmont at the Big A, and Tony liked the one horse a little bit. I agree with you, Tony. I just didn't like the over 10 jockey trainer combination, but you're right.
All right, here we go. Now, let's see what the simulator can come up with in an otherwise inscrutable race to finish out the day.
Okay, we have what time's the first race? 3:05?
3:05, I believe. So
15
I
minutes.
still haven't made a selection for this race. And this is
Okay.
the race that is tripping me up. And again, I've told horse players who know me, who know my line, and they're going to say, this is Dave's race. It's not my race. I said, I don't want any live money tournament ever coming down to a 12-horse field of New York State breds, maidens, going 2 turns on the turf. And that's exactly what we have. So, I mean, this is such a wide open race. I don't even know where you go. So the way I look, who does the simulator have here? I mean, the bottom line, though, is to me, Bunny Honey, the 12, is the most logical winner here, coming off the open company at Gulfstream, back to New York State breds. But we saw one today that didn't run too well. That was the 10-horse in the second race. Similar angle. This horse is probably the most likely winner, but based on the rest of the field and this outside post, I don't think you can use it on top. Maybe you want to use it defensively. So I searched all over the place. You could go with Katie Davis here at 42-1 in their first race with Lane Leslie. Goes back to Davis. His horse closed for second against some of these that were in here. You got 2 Christopher Clement horses. So I didn't know where to go. So when push comes to shove, I had the EquinEdge long shot help me out in this case. And I'm going with Lose Redemption, the number 6. Last race had a decent third from an outside post, and I'm thinking maybe can move up a little bit off that experience. And I'm a big fan of Catholic boys on the turf, and that's all I can offer here because who else would I go with? I guess I'd take one of the Clement horses second. So let's go with Loriana. So 6, 9.
Okay, well, how about this horse? First start, broke 11th of 12 horses in November. Okay, that's not exactly an easy meet. 6 wide on the trip. The horse only lost by 5.5 lengths for Clement. Clement second, first race back 17%, 17% second lifetime start. Flavian Pratt jumps aboard, so a big upgrade in jockeys as far as the turf goes, especially. Although Dylan Davis is a very good jockey, but Flavian Pratt's one of the best turf riders we have. And also a 4-star work for Bruno. From the quarter pole out, this was a very fast work. Silver Skillet drafted behind Miss City Curl, angled outside of her, and they flew down the lane and out in 35-2. Big out, both very good. And that was on the dirt. This is a turf horse. Like, who else would we go with? Try to beat the 12 from the outside, from that 12 post, I think makes sense. I think the 6 is okay, but when you look at the 6 horse, it just looks okay. You know what I mean? It's not that great. The GSRs are average. I think the 4 horse has the most upside and ran a huge race first time out. Of course, you stay patient with a nicely bred horse like this. For me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I think it's the 4.
Yep, logical. 4 was one of the contenders. It's one of the Clement horses. So
it's got the GSR. Look at this GSR 78. So by 11 points over the 9 horse, who's the other Clement horse, and the jockey trainer combination with Clement and Pratt's 13%, and with Rosario and Clement is more 20%. I think we should, 31% jockey trainer combination with Dugan and Rivera on the 5 horse. So I think it's something that should be looked at anyways. Faced the 9 horse who had issues in that race last time out. Save ground, no problem. I think in races like this, you should always look at changes. The 5 gets blinkers. The 4 horse gets Lasix for the first time. And that's because in many states, 2-year-olds can't have Lasix. So now this horse is 3, gets Lasix. That helped me with my horse, Galicia Spirit, who bled really badly in his first race. And then we were able to get Lasix, weight, and the horse ran much better. So, yeah, I'm thinking that for me, I'm Lasix on, Flavian Pratt on, makes sense to me. Bumped at the break here. I'm sure this 9 can run. It's also the EquinEdge second pick. It's right there. But this was a pretty impressive performance. Clemence could finish first and second. Honestly, I think you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the 4 on one and the 9 on the other. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, you're going with the 2 Clemence. Now, if I went with the 2 Clemence, neither one of them were going to win. So that's why I don't want to put the hex on them. So, yeah. Again, there's some horses
now you're going
in
to be
this
nice
race.
to me?
I'm sorry?
Now you're going to be nice to me? Huh?
Well, no, because I'm not going to do it. If you tell me you pick 2 Clement horses in a turf race, how can I not be agreeing with you? Clement just cleans up on the turf, but I don't have any luck with Clement. But there's some horses that are going to improve off their initial race in this upcoming race today. So I'm not sure which one it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be the 6.
All right, we have one more race to do. Remember, this Belmont race number 5 coming up in 12 minutes. So you have 12 minutes in this pick and parade to have all your plays in, and this is the last leg for the qualifier here, and I think probably the top 2 people will get an entry into the NHC. So good luck to you. We'll run the race here. This is the last race we're covering. We will watch the race. So Katie Davis is on the 9 horse, and the simulator has Katie Davis going gate to wire, Tony. So we want to make sure that she doesn't mess around and she gets that lead. So I'm just looking at this particular race for the first time, David. I hadn't handicapped this race. There is a wall of them.
Yeah, this is another race. I'm just looking at the scratches here, so we get the 2, 4, 5. Yeah, this race I was all over the place with too. I didn't know what to make out of it, so we're dealing with a 6-furlong turf race. And I'm looking at most likely I'm just going to go with the best speed in here. But I still haven't made my decision. Looks like that's Nesso's last hurrah. Let me look at the speed numbers, the pace numbers. Yeah, well, it's the 5. So there's a small disparity from 59 to 51. So to me, 5837, there's any one of those horses can probably get the lead here. And the simulator has who taking the lead? Would be the 5.
At the
5.
start has the let's see here. At the start, first call. There's a few of them. If you look at the style, this horse needs to be near the lead. That's the 7 for sure. 5 horse needs to be near the lead, who's not going to win, but could hurt the chances of some of them. You look at the 3 horse. The 3 horse can rate, and the 1 horse can rate as well. 5, 7. The 8 horse is a horse that needs to be forwardly placed as well. So something's got to give here when you're looking at these speed horses. You got the 5, 8, 3, 7. The great part about the 3 horse here that I like is that the horse does not need the lead. And I wonder if they're keeping the blinkers on this 3. They are keeping the blinkers on. I think they were just frustrated because it was right there a couple of times and it burned some money. It did draw the rail last time out, and it was, fractious. It dueled. it definitely needs to be near the lead, but this horse can rate some, and it lacked room here going 6 furlongs. This horse is going to get a really good trip, and if Rispoli can get this horse to relax, and he's done well on this horse. He won on this horse here. This horse might run a good race. I don't like the blinkers for a horse like this personally, but this horse is going to sit a nice trip. The 7 horse, though, I don't know that the 7 can rate, David. I don't know.
No, this looks like this speed, the horse that would have the lead, and the more that I'm looking at it, Scotty, this is the horse I'm most likely tempted to take here. This horse has won over the distance back at January 6th, wire to
Which
wire.
one?
The 7.
The 7. Okay, so it's 28%, and you're thinking that you want
Wire
to.
wire.
Oh, you're thinking the horse is going to go wire to wire. I got you.
Yeah. I think in a race like this, and again, I'm not sure if that pace is going to develop like that. This is such a wide open race. I could use the 8 or the 9 also, but obviously you have to make a decision. So when I see a horse who's won at the distance, I guess I'd look for a horse who's won over the course and at the distance. And we've got a couple of contenders here, but I'd probably go 7, 9, 9, 7. I'm still looking at both of those horses.
There's so much speed in this race. For me, I'm 100% looking at the horse for me, and I like the 7. But somebody's coming from behind in this race.
All right, you just changed my mind. I'm using a 9. I'm using a 9 who looks like he could stalk and come from behind. And the horse had won 2 races at this over the track.
I agree.
One over
I think the 9's a great pick. There's just so much speed in here. I'm looking at this. The 1 horse is an interesting horse because it is going up in GSR 10 points, and it ran really good against a 66 SOR last time out. The problem is the race before that, it didn't run a lick against a 58 SOR, and it had a high GSR. But it ran huge with the GSR dropping, the win percentage dropping, but the SOR going up. So I maybe Glatt's got this horse going well right now, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Quite possibly. Yep.
Right. And look at Talamo was on this horse, and Talamo gets back on. It's the long shot. It's a closer. There's something about this 1 horse that might be the horse.
Yeah, Scotty, I tried to make the 1 originally, and the one thing that talked me out of it is the lack of a try at 6 furlongs on the turf. This horse has been mostly mile distance. So I think this horse is going to be real far back and from that rail post. So I tried to make a case for Tarantino, but I decided ultimately to go with the 9 on top.
I don't blame you. I think the 9 looks fantastic. I guess if I'm playing devil's advocate, like this horse has burned a lot of money, but this horse should get an absolute perfect trip here. Hernandez does jump off. Where does he go? Is he in the race? He jumps to the 8. He jumps to the 8. Interesting. And Fresu jumps aboard. But God, I don't love the 8. I think the 8 is tactical a little bit, but I will say this, but I don't like that last race. Like I know if you the race 3 back, it was good, 6.5 furlongs. But the last couple of races weren't any good. I personally am not a fan of this 8. I think there's a lot of speed. I personally like your 9 better than the 1, but the 9 has burned some money. The 1 has burned some money. But
again, the 8 does come out of a couple of stakes races, right? The Las Barrera, a couple of baffle.
Oh, we have 2 minutes to get this race in.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. 5 minutes. Tony, you have to look at we gave out the with the new show, with the weekend preview show, we gave out 10 horses, and I think 3 of them were today or 4 of them were today. And the first one won when gate to wire. It was 6-1 on the odds makers morning line. Ended up getting off at 8-5. And so yeah, let's see here. Katie Davis, yeah, she liked that post. That's awesome. Send. All right. That's how we do it.
There you go.
Katie's likely to send. She's likely to send in that race because of that. She
Oh,
might have
absolutely.
already, but only because she saw it happen already. She saw it work. We've got 4 minutes to get into plays here. This is a key race, obviously, because if you're alive or you're close in this race, it's going to come down to this most likely. And I'm trying to find any angle I can on the 7 horse, like, initially. But the truth is, this 7 has to be near the pace. It has to be, period. And Maldonado's on for a reason. And there is a lot of speed. And the 8's super fast as well on the outside and has substance. And so Hernandez sticks with the 8. No doubt about it. Bit tight, pressed. When you see pressed, a lot of times that's usually a sign a horse needs a lead. I will say this, though. Going 6.5 furlongs, 3 back against a 66 group, this horse almost won the race, and it rated behind horses from the rail. But the last couple of races, I mean, this horse is just not run good. A bit tight early, step slow. Maybe it's had excuses. Now it draws outside, gets a nice post.
Goes back to turf. Oscar performance.
Gets back to turf. Tarantino, back to turf as well. GSR goes up. I mean, that ran a good race last time out. I might go with Talamo here. I might take a risk with Talamo. What about the 10 horse? It's moving up in class. It won at this distance and surface last time out. I'm going to put in my picks. I'm going to put in the 9-1 and then 1-9, just to be safe.
Okay.
In case the race takes off. Let's. We're not going to be able to show the race, but we'll turn the volume up and.
Yeah, so we start out here, Scotty, with my long shot special, which I always like. So my 8 horse, who I'm trying to get home, Noble Huntsman, who I've been on for, it seems like years. Like one day this horse, I always said, one day this horse is going to win and going to be a cap horse and is going to get me an NHC seat. And then I'll see, it's like, oh, it's entered Saturday. Here I go. So today may be the day.
I hope so. It's going to be in last. It's going to be in last. I'll be right back.
Last early and hopefully not last late.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes on the show. Okay, so 5 is clearly going to have the lead. I don't think there's any argument about that.
All right, just an update on the odds board. I don't know if people are listening to the show, but the 8 horse Noble Huntsman was 22-1, went down to 19, then to 17, down to 16. So hopefully it's smart money coming in on Noble Huntsman. Maybe we can get another shot of cash in that win pool. 17-1. Who do you have here, Scotty?
I've got the 1.
9-2.
I've got the 1.
All right, I've got 8, 9, 18-1, and 13-1, but I'm just playing an 8 on top. There's loading in the gate. Got the 1 going in, the 2's going in.
All right, good luck, everybody. All right, Tony's
got
the
good luck.
10. You've got the 8. You're sticking with this 8 no matter what.
You got it. You got it. Just hoping to get a second. So I yell in my mind, get second, get second, get second. Hopefully he gets a first because I'm only rooting for second. I'll be happy if this horse runs a decent race and is in stock position. It always scares me though. You get to the NHC in the last race to the final table, who's running but Noble Huntsman. What do you do?
Yeah, that's a rough one. Let's
Right.
see. This horse is going to be in last early though, Dave.
He's going to have a little more speed than you think today. Blinkers on. So he has blinkers on. He's showing a little more speed. So he was next to last. Now he is last. So.
Well, I'll tell you, the 7 horse, I didn't use the 7. We had talked about the 7. And I'm a little, frustrated with myself right now not using this 7. Like, that's a really good position to be on. Well, the jockey on the 1 did a great job. Go, just go.
Yes, yes.
What a move that was. That's the old Joe Rosado.
He never wins. He never wins, though. That's the issue I have with him. Let's see.
All right. I mean,
5-1 something.
Yeah, that was tough. Let's look at the look at the picks, David. It's just insane. I marvel at this algorithm. Look at this.
Yep.
I mean, cool.
Right there. Yep. Trying to see who got third.
I think the 2. No, it's not the 2. It's not the 2.
The 2 is a gray.
Oh, it's the 7. It's the 7. Yeah, it's the 7.
7 in between horses.
Yeah.
And my hopeless long shot finished like 6th or 7th, close from the outside. One day, Noble Huntsman is going to get enough pace and rally. The horse made up ground.
One day.
Maybe at Finger Lakes.
Well, that was a wonderful time, and don't forget, you guys, to like the show, please. It really, really helps our channel. If you could please click the like. And for those of you, yesterday we had some really great views and likes on the show, which were phenomenal. But so many of you did not click on the bell and get notifications. Okay, so we're trying to send out the least amount of emails we can to give you notifications on the shows, because we don't want to bombard you with those things. So please, we don't want to spam you to death. Please click on the bell and like the show, because we've added 2 new shows. We've got more coming. We've got this show every Friday morning. We've got the new show, weekend preview show. Of course, the stretch run, which has been just destroying it and killing it in a good way. That's tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. And with Oldie and Chris and Justin. So again, David, to my partner, thank you so much. Always good to hang out with you, brother.
Scotty. Have a great weekend. And by the way, I don't owe you a shake. St. Joe Louis finished 2nd, but congrats, you got some place money. Never wins, but he finished 2nd. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity. Have a great weekend, and may the horse be with you.